and define tomorrow. Unisa stands at the pinnacle of education through open distance e-learning with a footprint of students in 130 countries worldwide. Rooted in South Africa and the African continent, Unisa can truly claim to be the African university in the service of humanity. Since the founding of the university in 1873 as an examining body, we have been a trailblazer. Unisa is the first and only institution in South Africa to carry our country's name with pride and the first public university in the world to exclusively teach by means of distance education, an ever-changing dynamic university with a global reach. Unisa's history spans the entire modern history of South Africa, opening up a world of academic study opportunities to former activists and struggle heroes, thought leaders, business people, legal experts, acclaimed entertainers, and sports stars. The university takes pride in the more than 900,000 alumni, making their mark in diverse fields and capacities. At Unisa, the World Wide Web is our educational playground, but we also have beautiful and impressive campuses. Unisa's Makkelneuk campus is located in the city of Tshwane and is a major landmark of the capital city. We encouraged our students to communicate with the university via online platforms, but you can visit the Unisa's Sunnyside campus, the perfect setting for students to engage with fellow students over a cup of inspiration. The Science Campus in Florida, Johannesburg, is designed to meet the education and research needs of students in a range of programs, including agriculture, nature conservation, consumer sciences, engineering, computing, and physics, to name a few. Students in the sciences now have access to Unisa's own laboratories, housing some of the most state-of-the-art infrastructure and laboratory equipment available. Distance learning requires that you study at your own time and in your own space, but that doesn't mean you're on your own. You can also visit a Unisa regional center to get advice, meet other students, make use of Unisa services, have conversations with counselors, and use our academic libraries. We offer an unparalleled range of study choices, ranging from short courses and certificate programs to 3- and 4-year degrees, diplomas, as well as master's and doctoral degrees, with close to 380,000 current students. Our rich tapestry of study disciplines includes the College of Accounting Sciences, Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, Economic and Management Sciences, Education, Graduate Studies, Human Sciences, Law, Science, Engineering and Technology, and the Graduate School of Business Leadership, as well as the Thabo Mbeki School of Public and International Affairs. As a comprehensive open-distance e-learning pioneer, Unisa is known for delivering well-designed, interactive study material and integrated student support. Students have access to a menu of support services ranging from face-to-face tutorials and academic literacy services to study groups and e-tutors. One of Unisa's main aims is to harness the new and emerging potential in information and communication technology, catapulting the university into a truly digital future. To this end, examinations are conducted on college-specific exam portals and are accessed from the My Exams portal. Unisa is well placed to address society's most demanding challenges by using research to meaningfully transform the lives of those in our communities. To that end, Unisa is working towards instituting the following catalytic niche areas: marine studies, aviation and aeronautical studies, automotive studies, energy studies, space study and square kilometer array, fourth industrial revolution and digitalization, natural sciences, health studies or medicine, feminist, womanist, Bosadi theorizations, and student support and co-curricular activities. As Africa's leading open-distance e-learning university, Unisa strives to keep up with the constantly evolving higher education landscape in order to serve our students to the best of our ability. We can reflect with great pride on the past 150 years of transformational education, and we are confident in our ability to succeed and become a truly high-performance university as we define tomorrow.
Good day, everyone. I hope everyone is good. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
I can hear you. Hi.
Okay, thank you. Can you see me, guys? This is me. My name. Okay, thank you, guys. I'm Ompile. I'm your program director today. We are about to start now, and I'm about to switch off my camera. Is it okay, guys?
It's fine.
Okay,
It's
thank you.
Fine.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Okay, can you give me a minute so that I can be able to start? Okay. Okay. Okay, it's 9:30. Guys, we are about to open the program for the Gauteng region counseling and career development in collaboration with the Unisa's Women's Forum and Tirisano projects, advocacy for HIV, diversity, equity, inclusion, and well-being. Can we please welcome Dr. B. Pitswani? Dr. B. Pitswani, can you please take over? Thank you.
The program director, thank you very much for welcoming me. As have been said, I'm Dr. Pitswani, the head of counseling in Gauteng region, and we are blessed and very privileged to be hosting you today. I would like to say you are all welcome. Everybody in attendance, thank you for having honored this invite to our initiative of Take a Girl Child and a Boy Child. We have decided to join them, being it a girl and a boy. They are equally important in the world. Hence, we are calling this a Take a Child to Work initiative. We welcome our high school learners all over Gauteng, as well as the teachers who have accompanied them to this venture today. We appreciate you to have made it possible to bring your learners to our university to see what is it that we are offering on a face-to-face basis. We believe that as learners, you have a contribution to make to the world. And we hope that today you have the opportunity to explore different career options to find your place in the world. We welcome each and every speaker who will share their experiences with us today. Thank you for pouring out your skills into our next generation and our future visionaries as well as leaders. With that, we hope you enjoy the session and grab the opportunity with both hands. Ria leboga. Thank you. Back to you, the program director.
Thank you, Dr. Pitswane. Thank you very much. We're about to continue with the purpose of the day by the Women's Forum, which is Miss V. Sikatla. Thank you, Mr. V. Sikatla. You can take over.
Good morning. Thank you, Program Director. I'll just switch on the camera so that you may see me. I am Dr. Vuyo Sikatla, a member of the Unisa Women's Forum. I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the Unisa Women's Forum to, under the stewardship of Prof. Magano, and greet you all. A special greeting to Unisa management under the stewardship of our mother, Prof. Linkabula, and a special greeting to our mother, Ms. Masalisa, who is the host today, the regional director for the region, Gauteng region. Our sponsors, our collaborators, exhibitors, you are greeted, all of you. Our main guests for today, the learners, girls and boys, can I hear a hello? Okay, thank you. Daughters and sons of Africa, we appreciate you at Unisa. Happy Africa Day to all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, this event, as Dr. Pitswane has mentioned, it's take a child to work, not a girl child. We value both boys and girls at Unisa. It is hosted annually at Unisa with our collaborators, and we appreciate them, with the purpose of exposing you to various career choices and to the world of work. Today, you will get to experience what is it to be an employee at Unisa and what is it to choose a career, as we are going to inspire you as Unisa and motivate you and maximize so that you can maximize your potential, so that you are able to realize your dreams. As Unisa Women Forum, we'd like to give you just one advice. As a student or as an aspiring employee, you will be confronted with challenges in your pursuit of your dreams that we should not forget. So as we keep you, we just want to say to you, adopt an attitude of a potato. We don't have time, but I'll just give you 3 things that you should take note of. You see a potato, girls and boys, it's always thrown underground. That's where it grows. Sometimes it feels that it is buried, it is silenced, but it is there underground. But what it does, it multiplies. That's what we want to say to you as UWF. When you are confronted with challenges of life in your pursuit of your dreams. Number 2, remain white. No bitterness, remain humble, do your work, be diligent. Then the last one, as UWF, as mothers, we want to say to you, focus on your finishing. Don't lose focus. Make sure that you study hard so that one day you realize your dreams. You are unstoppable. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. V. Sikatla. Thank you very much. I hope they did take notes. As we continue, we continue on how to make an informed career decision. Can we also welcome Ms. M. Mabua? Ms. M. Mabua, can you take over? Thank you. Mrs. M. Mabua, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you.
Can I request that someone takes my space for now, and I will come a bit later.
Okay, no problem.
Because I'm actually doing the runarounds here and the program. Yeah, please.
Okay. I think we can take it to careers in robotics by Dr. P. Goes. Thank you. Dr. P. Goes, can you take over, please?
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. I am Dr. Patricia Gous, and I'm the director of the Unisa Science Engagement Center. And I'd just like to put it out there, instead of having this online conversation, I would actually prefer that you come to our science center and do some real robotics and start building robots and programming robots, which would be more fun. But this is as it is. And so all of you who are out there and listening, the learners especially, as you embark on your careers, there are going to be robots in your careers, and there's going to be a future, a very different future than what we have. And from the previous speakers as well, it's a journey, and I like the idea that we keep going and we keep learning and we remain humble. And so you've got to start somewhere. So hopefully in this presentation, you'll get some idea of what lies ahead of you as you move forward in your careers. Maybe you're mostly in school, and then you're going to embark on some studies, but whatever you do, you need to equip yourself to thrive in the future that lies ahead. And so I'm going to share my presentation with you, and then I'm going to ask one of my colleagues just to make sure that you can see my presentation. So 1 minute. And then somebody's going to say, yes, they can see my presentation. All right. Can I have confirmation that you can see my presentation? Not yet. Here we go. Is my presentation visible?
Yes.
Excellent. All right. Okay, so as I said, welcome. I'm Dr. Patricia Gous. I lecture programming in the School of Computing, but I am also director at the Unisa Science Engagement Center, and I'm also the project leader for the ICET Robotics project. So if you'd like to be involved in robotics, let me know. It's an exciting new act of part of life. And I'm presenting this on behalf of my team, who are also in the meeting with me, Tumelo, Cabello, and Anzani. And we're going to present a short presentation on your career opportunities in robotics, but with that must be in the context of 4IR and robotics, and also the future of robotics in this country. And so it's an exciting intersection in life. And so we are just as excited as you are to embark on your careers. So just by way of introduction, I'm not sure to what extent you're aware of what 4IR stands for or what is robotics. But what we do know is that careers and job opportunities require 21st century skills, because we would love you to all thrive in the era now of 4IR and then beyond that. And we got some examples. So doctors operate, but now they can operate remotely with robotics. Mechanics can fix your car, but we use computers. And maybe you were only born after the conversion from landlines to cell phones, but some of us have been around. And so cell phone is not just the phone, it becomes the camera, the GPS, the bank, and now you have fridges ordering food on the internet. So that's the Internet of Things. And what I would like to really emphasize is that it's your response. And I really encourage you to go and read this article, what it means, what is the fourth industrial, what it means, and then how do you respond as you go forward, because you are the workforce of Africa, and we need to ensure that you have the skills and the knowledge to thrive when we are going to leave and you are going to take over, and you need to be well equipped. So our job is to ensure that you are well equipped. Just on a note of artificial intelligence, it's really not human intelligence, because there are really no emotions. And I really need you to remember that it is, it's machine, okay? It's all machine. And it's usually on a computer. And I would encourage you, if you ever meet Sophia is definitely a robot. She looks, you know, if you look at her from the front, she looks like a human, but if you open her head, you'll see it's just wires and connections. And so that is kind of where we're going towards, and we can have a whole conversation again about ChatGPT as an artificial intelligence. All right. So, okay. So I'm just going to put it out there as a disclaimer. There is no list. There is no list of careers and job opportunities. And that is part of the exciting intersection where you stand, is because you require 21st century skills and knowledge for development as you go forward. And you need to consider the jobs that are emerging. So I'm really encouraging you to upskill yourself, to get all the knowledge you can, but to be open to flexibility to see where robotics, 4IR, artificial intelligence fits in to enhance your future. Okay. So I'm going to do a short just overview of robotics in our 4IR, in where are our robots at the moment, and then beyond that. So this is kind of a 101. Robots can either be mobile or fixed, so which means they are just static. I mean, they don't move around. But the mobile robots that move can move in the water, so they're aquatic robots. Terrestrial, which is on land, but land is land and the moon, which is also a very exciting new development. And then they can be airborne, like our drones. And I'm sure you've seen the drones in the news. And then terrestrial is, do they have wheels to navigate, or do they have legs like the spider bot or something like that? Okay, so this is in the context of what is a robot. I need you to also just be cognizant of that robots require the engineering part and the programming part, but you do require 21st century skills to kind of put the two together. Okay, so if you go on Google and you ask who's the cutest robots, I'm sure you all know about WALL-E, R2D2. Obviously, there's always a rating for the cutest robot, but that doesn't mean that it is the most effective robot. But cute is also a criteria. And then just for comparison, so the 2017 robots, and then I compared that 6 years later to today's robots. So if you have a moment, I would highly recommend you go and look here. There's Boston Dynamics. Boston Dynamics are doing phenomenal work in terms of robots. Okay, obviously Sophia over here. Sophia is number one of most popular in 2017, but that doesn't mean that she's less important, even though she doesn't make the top 10 list here. However, what is really important, what you should notice is here, you see the robots. This was kind of, we're trying out things and we're experiencing, but it's becoming a reality. Robotics is really becoming a reality. And so Workday is amazing of healthcare, helping our elderly and just for assistance. Okay, so the big word in robotics is assistance. The robots are here to assist us and to enhance our lives. Also, the ocean robot is in here. We need to clean up our oceans. We have done total damage to our oceans, and now robotics is then being used, and I'm going to come back to that as well, where we consider how does robotics then address our problems, especially the environmental science robots. And of course Pepper made it as well. Pepper, good old Pepper. All right, so if you think of your career, you want to know, so what is the role of robotics in my career, whatever you're going to choose, whether you're going to choose engineering or education, or you're going to go into medicine or agriculture. And so all the engineering is available at Unisa, education's at Unisa, agriculture is at Unisa. So where do you use the knowledge that you have, and how does robotics then enhance your career? Okay, if you'd love to go into robotics itself, like speak to us, we would love to chat to you. So this is where you need to really understand what is your career of the future and where are you heading. Okay, just some examples. This is our robot in the ocean collecting oil spills. All right, over and above the plastic that we need to get out the water, but we've got little robots in the ocean There's some really cool videos of amazing robots. But go and have a look and think, could you see yourself kind of being in that field where you could use a robot to achieve your life goals? All right. So it's the innovation in the ocean. They're cleaning up the pollution, a more sustainable economic growth. You see, everything ties in with everything else. And so we're using robots to solve problems effectively. So they are there to assist us in dealing with our issues. All right. Robots in agriculture and aquaculture, huge. All right. We are needing to produce more food more effectively for a greater population. There's a whole drive towards a more healthy and sustainable approach to agriculture and aquaculture. And so then you need to ask the question, how do the robots then contribute to that? And could you see yourself being in that, where you want to study agriculture, but how do you make or encourage robots then to make it more effective? All right. How? So robots, we can program them. So that's where the programming comes in. Maybe you want to go into programming and then programming robots. That could be your field. The cool thing about robots is they can work repetitively and they can work long hours, and it's the form and the function. So there's the engineering part and then the function part. So the function is the programming, the form is the engineering part. And together we need to design to solve problems. And I really encourage you, I know I've only got 10 minutes for this presentation, but I really encourage you to go online and go and have a look at the phenomenal robots that are already in existence, making a difference in these fields. Robots in medicine and healthcare. When we had COVID, we had little robots running in where the medical staff could not go in, and maybe the robots that were there in just the kind of the intermediate, the assisting the medical staff, but they are definitely changing the medical sector. Please go and have a look and read up if you want to go into healthcare. And this healthcare, I want to add animal health as well, and medicine and healthcare, whether you go into animal healthcare, whether you go into human healthcare, robots can definitely assist in each of these sectors to make it more effective and efficient. Yeah, it's exciting times. Service robots, customer experience, and I've underlined they're upgradable and they have endless memory. And so there is a whole dimension of life, of jobs that are in your future where you can be assisted by robots. All right. And so also with the manufacturing, if you want to go into the manufacturing industry and you're coming to Unisa for a industrial engineering qualification or a mechanical engineering qualification, how then would you see that the robotics can then move towards assisting the industry? All right. If you want to go into the managerial and the employment, they are associated with the increase of the robots are there to ensure that you are effective in your product and in your service delivery. And so there are many articles about that as well. In all things, you need to know how the robots work and how, what are they and how do they work and how they can improve. I know profits for companies, but we're talking about careers, and we want you to have an effective and efficient and a optimal career. Okay, so when you consider your careers, you need to consider your risk. Okay, there are careers that are going to cease to exist. That is for sure. There are a lot of careers that have already ceased to exist. We do not have chimney sweeps anymore because people don't have chimneys. Okay, so what you need to do is there are careers that need qualifications, you need to have the knowledge as the human, all right? But the robotics and the 4IR, and they're disruptive technologies. They're going to automate for effectiveness. All right. So some careers like food, construction, cleaning, driving, agriculture, those can be automated, leaving you to do the more exciting stuff. So they'll automate the mundane. But there's assistance as well. There are robots that assist in teaching. There are robots that assist in hospitality. There are robots that assist in healthcare. So that list is a growing list, and we're going to monitor it as we go through. Every year it'll change. It's very dynamic. It's awesome. What I really need you to consider is what is your response to robotics and automation. We have city planners, we have education, we have agriculture, and there is a lot of research going on. And so you need to consider where you fit in. I really encourage you to have an open mind and to be adaptive to the career that you're going to be pursuing. So really, in closing, we would like to encourage you to decide on a career or a job or an employment where you wish to work, or kind of what domain, and then consider the future opportunities. Seek qualifications that will really equip you with knowledge and the skills. And these are 21st century skills that you're going to require to thrive. All right. And as you're pursuing your studies, and hopefully at Unisa, seek graduateness. All right. Participate in learning opportunities. And if I had time, I would advertise that Unisa Science Engagement Center has learning opportunities for you within the Science Center space to ensure that you have the digital knowledge also and the 21st century skills. We would love for you to thrive in the remainder of whatever's left of 4IR, but beyond that, you need to be equipped. All right. And as our final kind of encouragement, as you come to work with us, please come to work with us physically one day, but embrace your opportunities for lifelong learning. You will notice all the speakers here today have got a lot to offer. There are opportunities. Please do not let your opportunities go by. There are opportunities for learning. There are opportunities to engage. There are opportunities. And thank you for coming to work with us and seeing the exciting work is not work. Work should be a lifelong commitment. But embrace your knowledge and skills. And then what we're seeking from you is then to mentor and coach the next citizens of the future. So we're embracing our knowledge and skills to present to you. We would love to mentor you and coach you as our citizens for the future and encourage a play at the forward model so we ensure that all can thrive beyond the current 4IR. So on behalf of the amazing team from the Unisa Science Engagement Center, we would like to thank you. I'm not sure whether there are questions. Maybe I'd hand over to the session organizer. Are there any questions, or shall we leave that for later? Thank you very, very much. Thank you for this opportunity, and welcome to Unisa. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Heiss.
It's a big pleasure.
I'll just leave time for anyone who has any question. They can ask questions.
Okay, you're very welcome. If I don't have the answer, my team is also in the session. They can also have the answer. Yes. Are there any questions? Let's just have a look.
Dr. Host, we do.
Yes, I'm listening. Hi.
From the Val.
Hi.
Let me just give one of the learners who has a question. Okay, let me start here. It's 2 questions from Director.
Okay.
If the future is full of robotics, then where will the people who have who need jobs are going to do? Because if robots are going to do the jobs for us, that means unemployment will decrease, and a lot of people won't be working because they have robots to do that for them.
No. The robots will never take over. Robots are there to enhance our lives. We need our robots to enhance our lives. Robots will never take over. Robots need humans to program and develop and design. Okay. Yes, robots are not going to take over the world, I promise. Okay. And we're working towards a more effective and sustainable life for all. And so robots are really there to enhance your life and to make your life easier. So, yeah. Okay. And I'm happy to have this.
There is a follow-up question as well.
Okay, I'm listening.
But robots can override the system, right? Because I guess sometimes the robot crashes.
I think we need to do a robotics 101. You're welcome. No. Okay.
There is one last question from one of the.
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay.
Hello. My
Hi.
question is similar to the previous layer
Okay.
that as robots are being updated and improved every day, they're gonna take the jobs of people who have jobs. So my other question was, is it possible to make robots instead of taking the jobs, right? Instead, it works with the people at the same time too, so that there'll be employment and robots helping, and in the that's my question.
Okay. Robots are not going to take over any jobs. Robots are going to assist you to do it better. Okay. To remove the dangers, to remove the risks. Yes, there are jobs where we would rather send in robots. So if you have a bomb detonations squad to go and find bombs, you would rather send in a robot than a human because a human's life is more important. Okay, so that's a whole debate about robotics, but robotics are there to make our lives more effective and efficient. All right. Okay.
Good morning, Dr. House.
Morning.
We have a question from Sunnyside Campus.
Hello,
Yes.
greetings.
Hi.
My name is Mantantoni from Winterfeldhei. I wanted
Yes.
to ask from fields outside the technological sectors, where we have career fields where we don't have, which they do not integrate any technology that much, like agriculture. For not agriculture, for careers like agriculture.
We are living.
How are we supposed to innovate and bring robotics in those fields? How are we supposed to innovate and bring robotics in those fields? Because some careers, they do not teach you that much about the robotics as well as technology.
That is the exciting stage where we are, at the intersection where we are. So you need to go into your field that you would like, if you'd like to go into education or healthcare, and then as you embrace your lifelong learning, you will say, how then can we use robots? And you collaborate. That's part of the 21st century skills, is teamwork. Then you team up with perhaps robotics specialists, and you kind of identify how you can improve your domain. Yeah. So the healthcare, say the people are working in the old age homes, they don't have any robotics knowledge, but they went to people who have robots and say, we need to help the old people stand up securely without any risk of falling. So then that's where we have the collaboration between healthcare and robotics. And now we have Wellbeing, who is a robot that can help old people stand up without the risk of them falling.
Oh, yeah. So yes, we can only do this through collaboration. We have to collaborate with people who are more educated than us.
Not necessarily more educated, but we are collaborating in teams. Teamwork and collaboration are two of the most important 21st century skills. Nobody's going to go it alone. You need to have a multidisciplinary team. If you have a problem to solve or something that needs to be made more effective and more efficient, you can collaborate with your colleagues and say, how then do we make this better?
Last question. Right. You said that robotics are meant to assist us. Assist us, keyword, you said assist, not replace us. So I ask you, we have airplanes that are able to fly themselves, or for instance, cars that are able to drive themselves. So are these not replacing the drivers or the pilots or the future pilots that are to come? And if that's not the case, how so?
No. So if you have to fly long distances, you would like somebody to help you fly the plane. So we have robot assistants, robots that with artificial intelligence that can predict the weather. All right.
Thank you.
Otherwise, we'd all be flying. We'd all be having our own wings and flying, and that is just not cost effective.
Thank you so much.
I would love to have you. I've got a course in robotics for the future, It's one of our programs that we present. You're very welcome to join that debate as well. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. You're very, very welcome. And I'm currently teaching grades 1, 2, and 3 robotics at the moment. Yeah. So they matriculate in 2034. Be exciting times. All right. Sorry, can I just add one more thing? If anybody is interested in coming to do a robotics workshop at the Unisa Science Engagement Center, you are most welcome, and you're welcome to contact us. Okay.
Thank you, Doctor.
Very welcome.
Interesting questions. I think we can continue. Do we still have any questions? All right, no questions. No questions.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. We are about to continue in career in agriculture, which is given by Dr. R. Munyai. Dr. R. Munyai, can you please take over?
Good morning, colleagues and our future leaders, the learners. I'm Dr. R. Munyai from the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences. Will be presenting on behalf of my colleagues, Dr. Musevi, Dr. Adrianse, Ms. Reng, Mr. Romondo, just to list a few, and the laboratory staff. I hope our future leaders will learn a lot from this presentation. Just a sec, then I can upload the presentation. Is the presentation visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll be sharing with our future leaders a career in agriculture and horticulture. Just to give an outline of what I'll be sharing with our learners, I'll give a bit of my educational and career background, how you can plan your own career in horticulture or agriculture, and how do you get admitted at Unisa, and who will fund your studies, and which are the possible companies that one can apply the job. And last but not least, I'll also share how as agriculturist or horticulturist network or collaborate and have fun, because it's not just all about studying, we also have fun in agriculture. I did my BSc in Biodiversity and Conservation Biology at the University of Venda. And then I moved to the University of the Western Cape, where I did my Biodiversity Conservation Biology, and moved to UCT, where I further my studies in MSc Botany, and I was awarded an opportunity to do Master's Exchange Program in K. Leuven, where I spent almost a year. Then I moved back to Unisa, where I did my PhD in Agricultural Sciences. Just a sec.
She asked, so I don't know if you can, yeah, I will type it. Okay.
Yeah. Then after completing my PhD in agriculture, I have worked in different companies, Unicity, Durban Natural Science Museum, SENBI. Then I ended up deciding to join Unisa because there's a lot exciting at Unisa. Okay. So these are some of the activities that we do at the Horticulture Center. in the agriculture or horticulture field. You can see us hosting some of the events, and then some of the colleagues on the ground busy mixing the compost, and some showing some equipments where they are busy loading our waste in the big bin.
I know only practice under is easy. You know the difference. The one that takes long and normally I write it home. Yeah.
Mr. Tudu, can you please switch off your mic? So while you, as a young, fresh high school learner with a big dream and bright future ahead of you, how do you plan your career? There are two choices, the right or the wrong. Then I will start with the wrong, since a lot can go wrong. We have those learners who choose their career based on friendship, career-based, peer pressure, career-based, shortcut, career-based, and trending, career-based. A lot can go wrong, but with the right choice, one should know his or her own values. Yeah. You should know yourself as an individual. What am I? Am I an innovative, creative, a leader? Just to list a few. And how am I going to link my skills with the majors that I'm studying at school? Then you can be able to link your career options with your major, and you ask yourself, do I really want to be a doctor, an engineer, or a lawyer? Just to list a few. Will that lead me to the career of my passion, where I will enjoy what the right choice that I choose, or will that lead me to the career of my payment, where you just go there for money? Because I choose agriculture with passion. So in agriculture, how do you get yourself admitted at Unisa? If you're about to do a diploma or a degree in agriculture management or ornamental horticulture, you need at least 50% in mathematics, and then physical sciences, which is 40%, or agricultural sciences. And for those who are attending the schools where it's general, you are also included within the range of 40%, where you need your life sciences or your agricultural sciences subjects. Or you can do your senior certificate, where you also need a C symbol in higher grade or a D in lower grade. For more information, if you would like to join Unisa, you can check on our website. Where can learners get all the admission info? You can check on Unisa website, and Unisa is one of the best universities in the country, where you find out that they offer career guidance and also have an open day where our learners can have a one-on-one session with relevant people in different departments. And for those who are doing agriculture or wish to do agriculture, we have a lot of career exhibitions that we offer at different high schools. Not so long ago, we had a career guidance hosted by Unisa at Ramushidi Technical High School, and you could see you could see on the pictures the students or the learners were very happy to join us, where there were different companies sharing different gifts, information about their careers in the field. Who can fund your studies? No South African child is limited to study. We have lots of companies in agriculture, and you can see Unisa is at the top, because everything happened at Unisa, and you just need to find yourself obtaining the good grades, then you'll be able to join us. And all those are the companies where our learners can get bursaries, provided you are studying hard at school and get higher grades. After completing your studies, there's a lot that you can do with an agriculture or horticulture degree. In agriculture, you're going to learn a lot about the food products, how our plants or vegetables and fruits respond to the compost that we use, our fertilizers, and then you end up having a final product that tomorrow you have it on our shelves. We have eaten healthy, fresh breakfast in the morning. It all started with agriculture people. One can also become an agricultural economics, where you're going to learn a lot about the finances in agriculture, or you become a grower. Then you are the first person hands-on on the vegetables and fruits that we are growing at the center, or you become a horticulturist, where you will be cultivating foods and ornamental plants. And you can see with our picture, we also have animal and plant production. South Africa has now moved to the art of using greenhouses, where I call it the easy way. You have agronomic practice that one can use to grow vegetables and fruits, where you program everything. And I think that's where our previous speaker came in with the robotics. And we learn a lot where you are eating fresh from the garden. And we also encourage our young generation to join agriculture, be it at home or at school or at the university level. What am I going to do after completing my degree in agriculture or horticulture? You can become a horticulturist, you can do plant pathologist, you can be a nursery manager, you can be a landscape designer. When you walk past our garden and you see Unisa this beautiful, it started from us teaching them how they can design our garden. When you visit our greenhouses and there are fresh vegetables, it's those agriculturists and horticulturists taking care of everything. And then maybe one student can ask, how can people who are just growing vegetables and fruits need science? Everything in agriculture is science. If you are to taste a soft fruit, it's a hybrid of an orange and a nashi. So that's where science come in. So these are some of the activities or the occupation that agriculturists or horticulturists do. And our robotics, again, since this involves risk for pest control in the greenhouses, I hope Dr. we're going to send the robotics to do that for us. And then we also have our procurement officer, where the agribusiness field comes in. We don't just plant and eat. We also have people who manage our accounts in agriculture. And the procurement officer, that's where he or she comes in. So if you are doing accounting, you are not in a wrong field to also join our agriculture department. So this is more or less the same as the previous slide that I've presented for the possible bursaries or fundings that one can get if you are about to study agriculture. So the very same bursary companies, they don't just want to spend their money on learners and then dump you. They also recruit all the best students to join them, not necessarily saying that those who are not doing well at the university level, they won't be recruited, but you need to work hard so that you can also get the opportunity to work in one of those high-paying companies. How do we have fun and collaborate and network with other scientists in the field? In the green industry, they do offer lots of events where you're going to meet academics, you're going to meet researchers, you'll meet growers, farmers, all the top people that you have had in green industry through NAMPO events, SAFHA, SANA, the ones that they also host at SASOS. And we also have our video meetings where you can get information on how one can collaborate or network with agriculturists or horticulturists in the field. And you can also check on the social media, different platforms, can be Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. You get all the information about horticulture and agriculture. Thank you so much. And in short, that was the presentation from the Department of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences. Any question?
I don't think we have any questions. Thank you, Dr. Armunyai. Thank you.
There's one hand up.
Doctor, we
Okay,
have a
okay.
question from Sunnyside campus.
Okay. Hi, my name is Homita Hang. I would like to ask if I'm studying engineering, mechanical engineering, how will the agricultural sector need me? Like, in which manner will I be able to be in the agricultural sector?
In agriculture, we use different machineries where our irrigation system now needs someone from the engineering department or from the engineering field, where if something goes wrong with the irrigation system, Dr. Munyai coming from maybe the ground where I know how our soil and plants respond, I wouldn't be able to fix that. Then we also need those kind of learners. And if maybe we have our tractors, it's not functioning, that's where an engineer student come in.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions? Going once, twice, sold. Okay, we can continue on how to make an informed career decisions by Ms. M. Mabua. Ms. M. Mabua, you can take over.
Thank you so much. Let me just quickly display my presentation. Are you all able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
With no echo.
There's no echo.
Thank you so much. Okay. My name is Mama Shumabua, and I'm a student counselor in Johannesburg. And I'm going to just a presentation on how to make a career decision from where we are standing right now. And as we are actually Unisa celebrating 150 years of existence, so you can see it has been a milestone from our side, and we are wishing to actually welcome some of you here or all of you here next year when we start with our 151 year. So mine is just going to be short, just to actually enlighten the learners who have not actually made their career decisions right now, and just to bring them to life and share with them the things that they need to consider when making a career decision. So I thought it was going to be a conversation, but I can see we are running out of time, so I'm just going to be talking alone from here. Okay. What is a career, or what is what is the difference between a career and a qualification as part of when you are making a career choice or you are planning for your career? There is a huge difference between a career and a qualification, and what I want to emphasize is that qualifications make a career, not a career making a qualification. So you make a career out of the qualification that you choose. And what is a career? A career it's something that you plan right now for a specific purpose in your life, or for whatever the opportunity for your progress in your life. For example, you cannot let's say, for example, you want to be a singer. You can be a singer and be a professional singer at the same time and make a career out of it without even having a qualification, right? But there are certain careers that you cannot embark in without having a qualification. So know the difference between the two, so that when you're making such choices, you know which one becomes a hobby, which one becomes a career. Going forward, who takes part in a career choice? We have responsibilities from different people that are playing roles in our lives as learners. The first one will be yourself as a learner. You have a responsibility to make that choice. And amongst all these other people, like your teachers, parents, family members, your siblings, and everyone, your mentors, theirs is just for you to support you in the choice that you make, not for them to make a choice for you. As much as they understand you, as much as they feel like they have their own careers that they feel might be suitable for you, it's not their role. At least they should just support and advise you to say, okay, this I believe it can be a good choice for you, and you start exploring it, not to just say, okay, since my parents are saying it will be, then you believe it is actually the right one. And be careful of the parents and family members who wants to, to live their dreams within your lives or through your lives. Some wanted to be doctors, then all of a sudden they push you to become a doctor without considering some factors that might affect you as a student or as a learner, which I'm going to talk about just now. We also have, when we go into the institutions of higher learning, we need to also be able to differentiate between those. We have TVET colleges, we have universities of technologies, and we also have traditional universities. Know where all of these are situated and which qualifications they offer and the duration of those qualifications. You find that in one institution, they are offering teaching for 3 years, but there is a university that offers it for 4 years. So when you make the career decision, also explore the thingy, the institutions and the qualifications that they offer, as well as the durations and the minimum requirements for each qualification. What Unisa say offer as a minimum requirement for law might be different to UJ, might be different to VET. So when you make the career decision, sit with all this information, choose the qualification or the career, and then start now going around and checking which university offers this and which university offers that. Okay, and why is it important for one to make a career decision? The reasons are there. You are able to set up your goals. You know, for example, if you want to study psychology, you know how long is it going to take. If you want to study medicine, how long is it going to take? And you plan your life accordingly. And then it also eliminates the chances of dropping out. As people that are working in the institution of higher learning, we see drop out every single year. So you don't want to go into university and drop out, or maybe changing qualifications every year. So when you sit down now and make that choice, make sure that is the right one and you are going to take it through. And it also gives you motivation, because when you choose something that you love, even if it becomes hard for you, the subjects becomes hard for you, then it will make your life easier, because this is something that you love and want to achieve. The things that you also need to look at when you are making career decisions, your personality, interest, values, the subjects that you are currently doing, the social influence I spoke about earlier, and then the socio-economic factor, your financial background also is important. Sometimes we become very unreasonable to our parents when we want to make such career decisions without also having enough funds. So if you find yourself in a situation whereby you aim so high and you want to be away from your family, what you need to also consider is checking if whether you'll be able to qualify for bursaries, not only for yourself to say, I want to go to University of Cape Town and you are staying in Limpopo. Then your parents have to look for your thingy, for transport money, for everything that you have to do when you get there. So it's not a problem when you aim that high, but also check if the funds are available, and also if you will be able to get bursaries and all that. It's very much important. and the values as well. What is it that you value most? What are your interests? What do you like the most as a person? For example, you find someone who says, I want to study what do you call it? Nursing. Then the next thing, when they do human anatomy at the hospital, she doesn't want to participate. When they do so, when they send someone with maybe they've just involved in a car accident and there's just a lot of blood, you don't want to participate because you feel like I can't handle blood. So when you make that decision, look at such little things, dig deeper into the profession. What is it all about? And also match your personality. We see a lot of teachers fighting with their learners and all that. We see some children at crèche being pushed against the walls. This is where the personality comes from. You are not patient with kids, but you want to be in the teaching industry. So I'm just giving some examples so that you understand exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm not necessarily saying people are doing that every day. But we've seen videos of someone pushing a child against the wall and grabbing them by their neck. So that is where the issues come from. And also some important information that you need to also look into is the requirements for some qualifications and their duration, and like I said, make enough research for whatever the qualification that you want to embark in. There are qualifications or careers that when you choose them, you will think that just after you complete them for a 3-year qualification, it ends there. There is also some more things that you need to do. Like for being a lawyer, you need to go to law school, you need to specialize in something, for psychology as well, for accounting as well. Such qualifications need to be researched enough. Engineering, there is also professional bodies that you need to affiliate with, and that research is very much important. Where do you also position yourself? When they were talking about robotics, some learners were asking questions on, how are they going to replace that? Put yourself somewhere, position yourself somewhere in that. Make enough research so that you are able to position yourself. And of course, if you need more career guidance, Unisa counseling unit is always here to assist. And then we also have funding for different qualifications, but I know there is a colleague of mine who's going to be talking more about funding. We have like Funza Lushaka, we have Department of Social Development. We also have Unisa, as you've seen when our agricultural colleague was also presenting. And we have NSFAS, we have Edulon, so no child in South Africa should actually struggle when it comes to their education. Take note of that, and then as you go along, make enough research in the field of your interest. Bursaries are there, financial assistance is there. Just make your research as broad as possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Mabua. Thank you. Going to allow learners to ask 2 questions, only 2 questions. Going once, twice. Okay, Kopano, you can ask a question.
How do we handle?
No, Film Director, it might be a mistake. Maybe Kopano is
How
here.
do we handle the pressure at home so our parents, cannot influence our decisions when coming to careers?
I think the best way to go about it is also to get assistance from a professional person so that they are also able to understand that this is not about them, but you as a learner.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Do we have any other question? Going once, twice. sold. We can continue in career in the hospitality industry by Ms. E. Rono. Ms. E. Rono, you can take over.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well this morning. Thank you so much for allowing me to join you this morning. I'm going to take you through the career in hospitality industry. I'm one of the Unisa graduate student, and I'm still their student actually, because I'm actually currently writing my dissertation. And I hope I'm loud and clear. If I'm not clear, please raise your hand and then I will be able to sort my microphone from this side. So allow me to share my screen and then I can take you through my PowerPoint presentation. I'm hoping everyone is seeing my PowerPoint presentation. This is hospitality management. In hospitality, we are very diverse in terms of careers. We do a lot of things. It's not just about cooking. I know that when you are told that this career is related to hospitality, you tend to think it's only cooking. It's not only cooking. We have a lot of careers that you can perhaps based on your personality. I'm glad that previous presenter spoke about it. You will be able to join and even enjoy. All right, let's look at, you can be able to do a career in higher certificate. And in this, you can do things like managing beverage operation, housekeeping operation, hospitality today, supervision in hospitality. And this allows you to enter into hospitality industry at the supervisor level. And as well, you can assist in that department. So this is an opening entry level. Depending on your metric qualification, it will always state you that whether it is higher certificate or it's a diploma or a degree. So this is a sample of what you can do if you get a higher certificate pass and you want to see yourself in hospitality industry. So the next one is a diploma, and this takes 3 years. So this one is based on your choices, actually. Do you perhaps feel like assisting someone in front of the house, that is like reception area, fulfills you? So this will be the best place for you to be. So you will have front office operation is one of your subject, sales and marketing, communication, and also a touch base on food and beverage operation. So therefore, this one will allow you also to almost sort of be assistant manager in the reception area and also assist clients and make sure that they are feeling welcome whenever they visit you. And then we have another one that is it is both sides of the story in hospitality industry. So we have the one you can cook in the kitchen, you can manage the kitchen. At the same time, you have knowledge that you can also assist in reception area, in housekeeping, and so forth. So this one is called professional cookery in kitchen management. You will do things like food production theory. You will do things like practical cookery. You'll do things like food safety, managing food and beverage service, and so forth. This, you can be a supervisor and you can climb your ladder and be a manager in the future. So this is actually very good because it gives you both sides of the story in hospitality industry. The next one is a degree. So this is just a sample. When you access other institution, you will be able to see what they are offering based on their structure. So this is a sample. When it comes to a degree, you are exposed to things like hospitality management, financial management, end user computing, statistics. So this is just to prepare you that when you go and enter into this industry as a manager, you will be able to handle a lot of pressure that comes with that position, and you will be able to steer this hotel that you are located to be as successful. Remember, in hospitality industry, we are there to serve our client. We are there to make sure that our clients are happy and they are smiling all the time. So customers are always the king. So we strive to make sure that they are feeling like kings and princesses. Sorry about that. So we have careers here. So you can be a chef depending on your preferences. You can be a waiter. You can be a manager depending on where do you see yourself. You can also teach. So you can finish a degree at Unisa, for instance, and do your postgraduate certificate in education. And you can go and teach in high school. I'm sure there is hospitality in high school. You can also be a lecturer. So you can proceed after getting your degree, you get your master's, you get your PhD, and you can proceed and be a lecturer. You can also manage the housekeeping. Perhaps you see yourself there. So you can also go and manage the housekeeping department, be a housekeeper. You can also be a food and beverage manager. Perhaps you see yourself there. So perhaps you get your joy seeing people enjoying meals in a restaurant and so forth. You can also be a nutritionist because sometimes you are focused in healthy food. So you can advise clients on how they can actually enjoy meals that are healthy. You can also be a writer. You can write about healthy food. You can advise the consumer on better choices about food. So in hospitality industry, we have a lot of careers that are not explored, and I will gladly welcome you to join us in the future and join us and make sure that our clients are always sorted. So thank you so much for joining me. I'll be ending my slide here. And if there's any question, I can take one or two questions and then I can hand over the session.
Thank you, Ms. Rono. Thank you. Unfortunately, I'm going to apologize that we are no longer taking any questions due to time constraints. We are about to continue with Career in Law by Mr. M. Ramallah. Mr. M. Ramallah, you can take over.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, am I audible as I'm currently going through load shedding? Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Chair? Thank you, Chair. Thanks to the organizers and thanks to my colleagues as well for the invitation. I had initially prepared very comprehensive slideshow, but then I realized that I only have 10 minutes. So I'm just gonna take the colleagues and the learners and the teachers in attendance regarding the few slides that I could fit into this time slot. Chair, can you see my slides? Are my slides visible to all?
They are not yet visible.
Chair? Okay, I think they're still coming. Let me know when they're visible so that I can take the colleagues through to the slides.
Mr. Ramallah, your slides are not yet visible. Mr. Ramallah? I think we lost him. We can continue with the Institute for Nanotechnology and Water Sustainability by Dr. M. Madito. Dr. M. Madito, you can take over. Dr. M. Madito.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thanks, guys, for the interruptions. I'm currently going through a load shedding, so I'm using my backup appliances. Sure. In terms of careers in law, sometimes I think with the learners that are in attendance here, sometimes they often tend to think that liars are lie a lot, but in fact, the law itself, having a career in law, it means you are able to present your facts and evidence in a lawful manner, which is understandable by the presiding officer in accordance with the law. So most of the time, we ask ourselves what a lawyer is, what an advocate. Many students would ask themselves. So a lawyer, it's someone who is educated and trained in law. This is a person that can law and take and pass the bar exam. So an attorney, this is someone who is trained
Mr. Ramallah.
Law, but this person also practices the law in court. A basic definition of an attorney is someone who. Yes, Chair.
Sorry to disturb you.
Yes, Chair.
Can you adjust your mic?
Yes, Chair. Can you hear me?
We can't hear you properly.
Chair?
Can you adjust your mic, please?
Am I? Okay, apologies about that. Am I audible now? Chair?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I don't know where you lost me. I don't know where you got me, and I'm so sorry about this, Chair. I was giving the difference. I was saying that there's a difference between a lawyer, an attorney, and an advocate. And then I'm happy to answer when the time. So when it comes to specialization in terms of practice, there's an LLB, something called an LLB, which is a Bachelor of Laws. And then this takes 4 years. And then after completing, you can choose to either an attorney. There's also the BA Law, which is the Bachelor of Arts in Law. You can complete the Bachelor of Arts in Law, which is per standard 3 years. And then after completing a BA in Law, and then you work towards being in practice, you will need to complete the undergraduate LLB Law for 2 years. And then there's also the BCom Law.
And then this you can complete thereafter also a 2 years of LLB undergraduate study. So ultimately for the students in attendance here, if you want to practice the law, then you must hold an LLB degree. And then I would also want to refer you to the Legal Practice Council Act. The Legal Practice Council Act, which gives a broad definition of what a lawyer is, of what an advocate is, and also of what an attorney is. In terms of the Legal Practice Council Act, the Legal Practice Act, it states that it actually doesn't differentiate between the advocate and the attorney. It refers to them as legal practitioners. But is it important in our context to ensure that we give, a proper differentiation, a proper definition of what constitutes an attorney or what constitutes an advocate? So in terms of an attorney, that is regulated by the Attorneys Act 53 of 1997. Before you become an attorney, you need to apply for 2 years of articles of clerkship, including a 5-week course or a 1-year articles, provided that you fully or part-time enrolled in a school for legal practice for 6 months. And then after serving, you need to write an examination to be admitted as an attorney. If you pass, or when you pass, you will get admitted as an attorney of the High Court. So in terms of the advocate, it is regulated by the General Council Bar of South Africa Admissions of Advocates Act 74 of 1964. So you apply for an entrance examination, interview if selected, and then you become accepted as a pupil. When you are admitted, and then you will be admitted as an advocate of the High Court, serving 1 year of pupillage under a pupil mentor. So there's also the bar exams followed by oral exams. As you can hear, being an advocate or being an attorney, talking and having confidence is one of the tenets that will separate you from just somebody who studied law and also somebody who actually knows the law, meaning that one must be very, very, confident in such a profession and be able to speak in a way wherein people can understand what you are saying, and not having to use this, Latin jargons, this legal jargons that you normally hear people use in the media. In the court of law, and then you would be required to communicate your message clearly, to communicate your message concisely, to argue your facts, to present your evidence in a very clear and not confusing manner. And then also as an advocate, there's advanced training in advocacy and practice under the supervision of the pupillage. So there's also, professions. What kind of professions are there as in the law? Because it's not just lawyers that operate within this space. In terms of, one can be a criminal lawyer. You can, defend people who have been accused of criminal acts. And remember, the South African law says, one is innocent until proven guilty. You can be in corporate, you can work for the banks, you can work for the businesses, and also you can be an environmental lawyer. There was also my colleague here who was talking about, agriculture, and there's also, environmental law as well. There's also family law as well. There's administrative law, there's immigration law, there's tax law, there's constitutional law, there's insurance law, there's dispute resolution, there's labor, international law, property law, health, medical law, real estate, civil, and then human rights. So there are many opportunities in the field of law. As I've said, you can be the officers of the court as an attorney, advocate, or court orderly. A court orderly is that person in court when the presiding officer enters. That is the person that says, all rise in court. That's a court orderly. That person makes sure that there's order in court, and then also making sure that things in the court of law are conducted in a properly and orderly manner. You can also go to the National Prosecuting Authority, as you may have seen also in the media. There's also the court manager. You can also be the clerk of the court. You can be the registrar of the court. You can be the maintenance officer. And then in the justice and constitutional development, you can even go as far as becoming the office of the chief state or law advisor, like the Chief Justice in Chief Justice Zondo in South Africa. You can also be the state attorneys. As you remember, there were many cases in the media where state attorneys were presented, and you saw what was happening there in terms of how they present themselves. You can be the legal administration officer. You can be, also serve in the High Court as well. And as part of the judiciary, you can be the magistrate, adjudicate criminal and civil cases in court. You can be a judge as well. And then in terms of the law reform, one can be admitted also as non-governmental organizations. Many of you here, I've heard that you were worried about, robots taking, your jobs, and then you can also, create your non-governmental organizations whereby you give legal advice. You can also become legal advisors as well. So in the spaces of academia, you can be a lecturer in law. You can be, as a lecturer, you can either be a senior lecturer or a junior lecturer. You can also be an associate professor in law or a professor in law, and also law researchers. Law researchers are very important in the sense that when you watch those cases, especially in the media now, when you watch those cases and you find that when an advocate is busy presenting the facts and evidence before a court of law, there's somebody who's always whispering in their ear, sitting on the other side, taking notes and making sure that, to apply the relevant laws. Those are the researchers. So if the work of the researcher is flawed, then the advocate or the attorney will be found wanting in terms of presenting their facts and evidence. So, and then why do you think becoming a lawyer is very important? Becoming a lawyer is very important because the law is in everything and everywhere that we do. I work for the University of South Africa. There's a contract that I've signed. That is the law. You are a learner coming from a particular school within the Gauteng region. There's an SGB in that school providing governance. If you break the rules or the laws of such a school, then you will be, held accountable. There's also your teachers who are your overseers, who not only play an educational role, but also play a parental oversight, wherein your parents are not, when your parents are not at the school as well. So the law is everywhere. When you drive on the road, you're not just supposed to be driving while you're drunk. If you do that, then you'll be held accountable. You are not supposed to assault people. If you do that, you'll be held accountable. You're not supposed to break the law or get involved in acts of criminalities which will lead you to face the full might of the law. So, and I heard that many of you, as you were giving your arguments here to my previous colleagues and some of the questions that you asked, I picked up that you present your facts and you present your statements in a logical manner. And then if ever in future you go into the career in law, and that will work in your advantage. And as you may know, there are many people within the legal spaces who are famous. Advocate Dalimpofu, Advocate Tembega Ngugaitobi. You may not know George Bezos, but he was the lawyer of the former statement, the late statement, Nelson Mandela. And there are many others as well that you see even in the media, you admire them. And then if that is what you want to do with your life, and then that is the path that you should follow. And then the cherry on top in terms of studying law is that you can always work for yourself. You can go through all those relevant training and then establish your own law firm where you will be working for yourself, either as a criminal lawyer or as a commercial lawyer or as a family lawyer. Wherever it is that you choose to go, the world is your oyster. Chairperson and colleagues, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are about to continue to the Institute for Nanotechnology and Water Sustainability by Dr. M. Madito. Dr. M. Madito, can you take over, please?
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, Chair. Learners, very good morning to you. Chair, could you please confirm, this is looking a bit strange, could you please confirm that you see my slides and these are on a slideshow mode? Chairperson?
Yes, we do see your slides.
And my video is on Zoom. Okay, without any waste of time, I'm Batito, and I'll be speaking on the broad topic, Institute for Nanotechnology and Water Sustainability. This is a name for our research institute, but I won't really speak about the institute, and the next 6 minutes won't be enough for that. But I will take a terminology from the topic itself and speak about that as a career. So we are a research institute at the College of Science, Engineering and Technology at Unisa. So what we are a research institute, like I said. So what the institute does, it innovatively addresses issues relating to water scarcity and water quality. So how does it do that? It uses nanotechnology to look at the issues of water quality and water scarcity. And when we look at the staff, our staff at the institute, and we look at the highest qualifications of the staff members at the institute, you'll see that we have a combination of skills. So we have PhDs in chemistry, PhDs in physics, we have a DTech in water care, PhDs in metallurgical engineering, we have PhD in analytical chemistry, so on and so forth. So what this then says to us is that for a research institute that uses technology, nanotechnology, for addressing issues around water. And this says to us that the use of nanotechnology, or just this nanotechnology by definition, we are just looking at a combination of skills in science, engineering, and technology. And we can look at that as a definition of that. But let's talk about nanotechnology as a career. What is nano? How do we see things in nano, especially that nano, it's a very small, very small things in size and shapes, and how do we see that? And I'll talk briefly about the applications of nanotechnology and what are the skills required for one to become a nanotechnology specialist, and where do we get funding for these fields. Nanotechnology, I think the word nano, it came from a Greek word. They explain this as the word basically means dwarf. So in nanoscience or in nanotechnology, the size really matters. When we're talking about nano, we're talking about 1 billionth or 10 to the power of 9 of something. So a 1 nanometer will basically be a 1 billionth of a meter. So when from this, what you see here, you are looking at a conventional scale that shows the sizes of different materials that we find in our lives. And so we look at the size of a tennis ball that could be few centimeters in size, the size of an ant that could be a few millimeters in size. When we look at the human hair, that could be few, that's about 100 microns in size. And that goes on. But our area of interest within the scale for nano technology is between about 1 nanometer to 100 nanometers. So within that region, it's highlighted just around 10 nanometers to 100 nanometers. So this is our area of interest. in nano when we're looking at the nano scale of things. So we have our biological materials there, and you can see the sizes of the DNAs. Could be about 10 nanometers. The sizes of our virus could be about 100 nanometer in size. And we do get our nanomaterials that could be around that size. And these are materials that we then use in nanotechnologies for different applications. But what is important to note of nanomaterials is that they behave differently. Same material, carbon material, for instance, if you have a bulk of that, and you reduce that, you scale that down to nanomaterials, you have to have maybe your nanotubes, your fluorines, your carbon and nanodots. That material behaves differently. That also goes into its applications, so it can be used in different applications within the nanotechnology. So in the simplest terms, nanotechnology deals with materials and devices at nanometer dimensions. I think we can skip that there. So how do we see, we've just seen that these are very small in size, about 1 nanometer to 10 nanometer. It's not something that we can really see with our eyes. So how do we see this? We can see this with our research. We can see this under microscopes, and these are called our electron microscope. So we can have our transmission electron microscope, our scanning electron microscope. It's just this. These can go to a very high resolution scale compared to the other one, but basically they both show us what we want to see at the nanoscale levels. Nanomaterials, the same in size and shape. We have seen from these pictures that I've shown that they are not really the same in size, the nanomaterials. So we can have them vary within that range of 1 to 100 nanometers. Within that scale of 1, let's say about 10 to 100 nanometers, within that scale, that's a slight change in the size of these materials. It alters, it can have a very significant impact on its application. It changes drastically. And even the shape of these materials, when we change them, that also affects how the material behaves in practical applications. So these will have different sizes and shape, but within the scale of the nanoscale. Nanomaterials, so we of course, these nanomaterials vary depending on the field in which they are used. But I just want to take this a quick example of a nanofiltration membrane. If you take this, you look at it, it looks like a normal sheet, white paper, clean white paper. So you don't really see what's there on the surface of this material. How does it filter? In fact, it doesn't even look like a filtration system. And when we put that under microscopy, when you put it under microscopy, you will see that it has the different, you get different pores. You can actually see the pores that are responsible for filtration, and you can also from the surface, and you can also look at this from the size. But let's move on to the applications of nanotechnology. So nanotechnology or nanoscience, it has applications in different areas, and one can also find career opportunities within these areas. So we just to briefly mention a few, you can have these in material sciences, where you look at the polymers, packagings of materials. You can have this in biotechnology. You can have this in medical fields, pharmaceuticals, where you look at the the nature of these materials. We can have this in agriculture, forensics, geoscience, energy capture and storage. We can have nanotechnology applications there. Where we look at this energy storage using batteries, using supercapacitors, drinking water and wastewater treatment. I mean, that's what the Institute does. So as an engineer, within this space of nanotechnology, we can develop new materials and devices which then operate at the nanoscale. For advanced applications, as scientists, we do research on nanoscales, materials, devices, phenomena to bring new knowledge in the space of materials interpretations and applications. As a technician, you apply the nano knowledge to lab operations, quality controls, materials analysis, and also as an end user, without really having to go much into the studies of nanotechnology and nanoscience. You can just use the knowledge at the end, especially in manufacturing of the company products, environmental monitoring, so on and so forth. You can work as a specialist in materials companies, where you give advices on cosmetics materials, looking at their nanostructures, and also chemical compositions of this. Don't only look at this microscopy, the micrographs of these, but we also identify these materials chemically, modify them chemically, not only in shape and size, but we can also modify these materials chemically. So food processors, we can work have nanotechnology there in developing, testing, optimizing what's needed, especially what the food coloring, the flavor, the texture, the nutrition. So one can have a career in that space. But then what do we need if you want to work as a nanotechnology specialist? You might need your PhD or your DTech in any field of science. But of course, to have that, you must have passed then your matric, have a Bachelor of Science degree, Bachelor of Science honors, master's degree, and that takes you to a PhD. And to have your master's degree in science, Bachelor of Science honors degree, master's degree in science, then you must have science, past science in matric, your science subjects, your mathematics, your physical science, or your physical sciences subject. So what skills do you really require to have master's or PhD? These degrees, you don't really need a specific skill within this, but by their nature, the way they are designed, to get a master's or a doctoral degree, you do research. So these are, in science, these are research-based qualifications. And once we have completed this, then we take it that we have gained sufficient skills in the subject, either nanoscience, nanotechnology, and the application. And you can be employed anywhere as a nanotechnology specialist, like I've shown in the picture of the staff at our institute. Where do we find bursaries? I think for our science space, locally, we have National Research Foundation that's funding students in that space. We have CSIR, it's also funding students in the space. SASOL also funds the students. The Microscopy Society of the Sub-Saharan Africa also funds students. Even our Institute for Nanotechnology and Water Sustainability, we do fund students. But for us, we are only at the moment working with students at the master's and doctoral level. So we fund students at that level. Chair, I think I would like to stop there and thank you for the time and thank the program directors, colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Madito. Thank you very much. Colleagues, please note that presenters only have 10 minutes to do their presentations, and I am therefore going to be strict on time. Continuing, we are going to volunteering opportunities by Miss S. Masekwaning. Thank you. Miss S. Masekwaning, please take over.
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, learners. Chair, am I audible?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you so much. Today I'll be presenting about the importance of volunteering to increase the chances of employment. I mean, as we've heard from in the morning and until now, obviously you've been presented about different career options that are available at Unisa and other universities as well. So next slide, please. So obviously we have different reasons as to why we choose a certain career. So it might be personal and economical, but the ultimate goal is to have an employment. But the sad reality about South Africa is that we are currently experiencing high unemployment rate. As you can see from the figure there, that is illustrated by my presentation, it shows that people who have less than metric have higher unemployment rate, but it does not leave those who have qualification. So one might wonder, because we have our sisters sitting at home, we have our brothers sitting at home, what can I do so that I can increase my chances of being employed? Next slide, please. Okay, so the answer is volunteering. Obviously, volunteering, no one will pay you for the work that you've done, but it will help you increase your chances of being employed. So where do you start? You look at a certain organization that is around your community and see what can you get outside of that organization. For example, if you want to be a nurse, you'll go to a home-based care and go there to volunteer and see and be in touch of the experience of being a nurse. Or you can go and volunteer at a food garden, for example, and see how, because you want to pursue your study in agriculture. So you'll see how do they prepare a food garden so that when you get an opportunity to be in the field of employment, you are well aware of your expertise in the field. So obviously you would also check the specific skill set that you want to learn from certain organization. For example, you can't go to an engineering field while you're interested in nursing. So you need to choose and also be wise in terms of where you're going and what is it that you would like to get out of that specific place. So these are the factors that one should consider when volunteering. Next slide, please. So I need to relate this topic a bit to me. When I finished my honors degree, I didn't know, I wanted to find job opportunities in psychology, but I couldn't find one. So I opted for volunteering while pursuing my master's. So what I basically did is that I looked at Unisa and I looked at community engagement projects that are available at Unisa. So I picked Tirisano because it is engaged with a lot of communities and it will give me a chance for me to be able to present. So the other skill set that I was lacking as a shy person was to be able to stand in front of people and presenting. So that's what I ticked on my box that, okay, I can get this from Tirisano. The other thing is that as a student in research, there are certain experience that I needed to get in order for me to be able to be hired elsewhere. Like, for example, your transcription, analyzing data, collecting data, etc. So I chose Tirisano because it allowed me to be exposed in those certain areas. For example, if they have an activity report that I need to work on, it will give me those sort of experience, expertise. So choosing Tirisano as my home for volunteering, it allowed me to have confidence in what I'm saying and also what I'm doing as a researcher. So it also helped me to complete my master's because there's different section that I needed to be competent in order for me to be able to execute a chapter. So again, it allows you to be committed to the workplace that you'll be at because now you know what is expected from you. It also increases your likelihood of your life being satisfied because you know now you are giving back to the communities. And it also makes you to retain your employment. So you wouldn't be unemployed or being fired from your work because you don't know what you're doing. So if you are aware of what you're doing, then you can be able to keep your work. And it also increases your self-esteem as an expert within a certain field. Next slide, please. So the last take is from what you've heard from all the presentation in the morning, what I would like to leave with you is that even if you consider doing a career in computer science, just when you go to universities, look at computer labs whereby you can volunteer so that you are also aware of what you're getting yourself into. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Masekwame. Thank you. We're going to continue to careers in accounting by Ms. P. Kamolani. Ms. P. Kamolani, can you take over, please?
Thank you, Chair. Good morning to colleagues and our wonderful students. All right. I quickly ran into the room when I saw we were about to start. But as earlier said, my name is Ms. Pindiwe Kamlani. I thought I should provide just a brief background share around my educational background. Currently studying an executive development program with WITS and also doing my PhD. But this slide, I think it was important for me to outline the continuous need for us as individuals to professionally develop ourselves in order to reach the milestones that we would want to reach within our careers. From work experience, I'm currently sitting as the CODAL program executive, also currently chairing the online examination committee. But what is important is that I started off as an audit trainee at Deloitte in January 2008. That was my first working experience. Moved along between different companies as an auditor. I'll get into those respective job roles that this career does provide. So as I said, a CODAL program executive. I've had a fruitful career within Unisa, and I'm grateful for that. So just back to what we are here for, and that is to outline the different careers that are in accountancy. Accountancy, we are numbers people, and because we are numbers people, money talks. We understand money. I think the previous speakers spoke about passion for the careers that you will choose. But what is important when you do decide on the careers that you're choosing, also try to map out the end point for those respective careers. So this is just motivation to say within this career, we understand people earn sufficiently well, and it has been identified within the National Development Plan for 2030 as a critical skill that is required. You will see that they mention financial management and chartered accountancy as critical skills. What it does mean is that we have to ensure from an educational perspective that we do get students to be registering in our courses in order to fulfill the requirements and the needs of businesses. Chartered accountants are leaving South Africa, and that's because of their work ethic and their global experience is recognized by international companies. So we are seeing a lot of students right after they qualify as a chartered accountant, they're able to then find job opportunities internationally as well. I'm not sure if you saw within my work experience, you would have seen that I also had a stint at the New York office of Deloitte. So it does open up a broader perspective of where you can then find employment. So to start off, how do we then become a chartered accountant? You first need a postgraduate degree. So that would be the CTA programs that we would have. Then you do a 3-year training with a SAICA accredited training provider. Once you finish your CTA, you have to then write the first examination, which is the SAICA's initial test of competence that is administered by the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants. After 20 months of training, you then have to write a second examination, which is the assessment of professional competence exam. Thereafter, to complete your 3 years, you will be signed off as having the required competencies for you to be a chartered accountant. So I'm just going to quickly run through the different careers we do have within accountancy. One, you can be a financial manager that would then be responsible for the organizational financial health. They would handle the financial reporting. I'm not sure if we have students that are doing accountancy. So when you do those journal entries that go into the general ledger, this person is what they do within the respective companies that they are employed in. Another career path that you can choose in accountancy is to be a tax accountant, and you will then be responsible for the tax affairs of that company. That will mean also include submitting the tax returns, obviously abiding by the case laws and the acts that govern the tax. So you ensure that the company pays their tax on time, and then they don't incur any penalties for non-compliance by the South African Revenue Services, which is SARS. Another career path you can follow, which was what I had followed in my respective field, was being an auditor. As an auditor, they call us watchdogs. You then go inside a company and you ensure what they would have reported to their shareholders is a true reflection. So if they say the company has 20 million, for example, you have to inspect supporting evidence that indeed that company has 20 million. And then the shareholders rely on the auditor's opinion to say, yes, indeed, I have invested my money into this company and this company is utilizing my money appropriately. So a lot of investors put reliance on auditors for them to ensure that their affairs are being handled adequately and correctly by the financial managers and tax accountant. And hence we are then called the watchdogs of companies. Another career path that we can follow within this field is being a forensic accountant. So these are accountants that investigate white-collar crimes. We know that they are not easily identifiable because of colluding people colluding. So this accountant will then be an investigative accountant that will then go and try to identify any corrupt activities that would have happened in that company and report thereon as to their findings. So these are the four main careers that we have. There are obviously supporting careers below these ones, such as bookkeeping that you would want to pursue. So, but from a preparation perspective, if we look at what are the qualification requirements for you to become what is now a critical skill for South Africa, which is a chartered accountancy, we have the entry point of you starting off with a higher certificate. That's if you did not meet the requirements of a diploma or of a degree. So in some instances, we understand that students will possibly not meet the degree requirements, and as an entry point, we then ask them to register for the higher certificate first, right? So after higher certificate, you complete it, you can then be able to enter into the degree. But otherwise, there are students that also pursue the diploma route, which will then provide them also further opportunities within accountancy. So I think that was it, Chair, in terms of outlining what the careers we have within accountancy. I did think I was going to share so that my students can see I am a very young person, but I have had a colorful degree, and that is solely based on the decision that you as a student takes as to what impact you would like to make in your own life. I did grow up in Sharpeville, and luckily then I was able to earn bursaries to study in higher education, and it has been wonderful since then. So I hope I have convinced some students, we need a lot, but I hope I have convinced most students to come and join us in the field of accountancy. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are about to continue on career in technical engineering in aviation by Mr. Maja and Mrs. Ngema. Mr. Maja and Ms. Ngema, can you please take over?
And good morning to every one of you. I was hoping that maybe we could have the slides displayed as I have submitted them. And maybe Ms. Ngema, if you can also greet these beautiful children as we are taking them to work today. You are on mute.
My apologies. Very good morning to you all. Good morning, Chair, and good morning to all our students. Hey, guys.
Good morning.
And also to the program director and the head of I'm getting a feedback. I'm not sure if it's me or something else. And the head of counseling and career development to Dr. Pitswani and colleagues, everyone, good morning. My name is Papi Maja. I'm from the South African Civil Aviation Authority, and also as requested, we are here to present about career opportunities in engineering in aviation. And maybe if you can put my slides, because this one's for Mem Ngema, and I will start then. Thank you so much. If we can go to the next slide, please. As I said, that we're from South African Civil Aviation Authority, and the South African Civil Aviation Authority is a scheduled 3A public entity where we are reporting to the Minister of Transport. We also have board which is appointed by the Minister of Transport, and we are led by the Director of Civil, equally as CEO, Ms. Bobby Koza. If maybe we can continue. And our responsibility as South African Civil Aviation Authority is to ensure that we regulate everything that flies. It can be a drone, aircraft, helicopter, parachute, hot balloon, etc., etc. As long as it flies, we are the ones who are making sure that we regulate them, and all the people who are responsible for making sure that these assets are flying, your mechanics, your engineers, we are responsible to also give them licenses to make sure that they fix this aircraft. They also make sure that they build them from the scratch. Can we move to the next slide? One might ask, what is aviation? And aviation, in a simpler terms, we can say it's science and technology of flight through the air, or the art science of flying an aircraft. So that's what most of us are doing. And anyone on anything that is anyhow involved in transportation of people and cargo by air. So that's aviation. And let's move to the next. And as South African Civil Aviation Authority, we are also a member of the Joint Aviation Awareness Program, where we find our National Department of Transport, South African Airways, airports, companies, South Africa, ATNS, and TITA, as well as others. And we move to the next slide. The objectives of this awareness, it's to create, or the objectives of this is to create that awareness and also to actually attract previously disadvantaged learners to the aviation industry, because if you check, we are also advocating for transformation. Aviation has been dominated by whites, and as such, this is one of the exercises we are doing in order for us to ensure that we encourage Blacks, Indians, colors, and also previously disadvantaged learners to come to aviation. And also one of the things is to contribute to the transformation, as I have mentioned already. If we move to the next slide, and these are some of the careers in engineering, in aviation. We have aeronautical engineering. It is one of the scarce skills in South Africa and maybe and beyond. We have aircraft maintenance engineering, avionics engineering, structural repairing, aircraft radioelectrician, fitter and training, flight engineering. So I will be focusing on two here: aeronautical engineering and aircraft engineering. So if maybe we can move to the next slide. And when we speak about aeronautical engineering, we're talking about developing, designing, and testing of aircraft, missiles, and also satellites. So you have to start that from the scratch, so that's aeronautical engineering. And move to the next slide. And when it comes to schooling, I'm glad we've got grade 11s and grade 12s, and you're still having that opportunity to ensure that you get these levels. Pure mathematics and pure physical science, both of them should be at level 6. And when it comes to English, because it's a universal language, then we are expecting you to have a level 5. And maybe before I can continue to aircraft maintenance engineer, I've got a surprise for you, because I've got one of our aeronautical engineers. And believe me, as I said, it's a scarce field. So it's still only few of them in the country. So this engineering is being offered by Witwatersrand University, known as WITS. So I am introducing to you Ms. Nomathemba Khumalo. She's also from rural area of KwaZulu-Natal, and she's as young as you. And I just want her to speak to you just for 2 minutes to tell you what happened to her, why she is where she is now, and what did she do. Nomathemba, if maybe you are here and listening to us, maybe you can take over.
Thank you so much, Papi. Am I audible?
Yes.
Greetings to our learners and the stakeholders. My name is Nomathemba Khumalo. I hold a Bachelor of Science, Honors in Aeronautical Engineering from VET, as Papi has said. So my journey started through an aviation career expo, which we had at our school. And I was interested in aeronautical engineering. And then I made sure that I passed my matric with good grades. And then I was accepted at VET University. And I also got the bursary from the South African Civil Aviation Authority. So as an aeronautical engineer, basically we design and develop aircraft systems. We do aircraft performance analysis using flight dynamics and aerodynamics principles. And just some of the careers within aeronautical engineering, you can work in propulsion engineering whereby you design engines. You can work in automotive aerodynamics engineering and research and design development environment. Thank you so much. Oh, and now I'm currently working for the South African Civil Aviation Authority as a trainee certification engineer. So what I do from day to day is that I verify compliance with design standards for issuance of design approvals and changes. We also issue modification and repair approvals. Let's say you want to change something on your aircraft, you apply through us, we review your data, and then if we are satisfied, we issue the approval. And also we do audits design organizations to ensure that they comply with the civil aviation regulations and standards. We also do type acceptance. For example, if there's an aircraft coming to South Africa, an engineer will be sent to the state of design, whereby they will conduct inspections and witness tests. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nomathemba. So you can hear and you can actually see that it is possible. So if now she is from all the way rural area in KwaZulu-Natal and you are also from rural area, why not you? It's also possible. You can actually also do this. And thank you so much once again, Nomathemba. And when it comes to aircraft maintenance engineering, these ones we call them mechanics. When it comes to cars, it's mechanics. So they are repairing, they're maintaining, and also overhauling aircraft and its components. So if maybe we move to the next slide, also looking at the time. So you can see now these are the aircraft now where they are fixing them, and now this is what's needed for everything. Pure mathematics, physical science, and English, you have to be on level 5, minimum of level 5. Next slide. And again, these are some of the things you have to go through because you have to also write your trade test, and you have to do your aircraft mechanic, your avionics, your structural repairing, and DINEL, as well as South African Air Force and SA Technical are the institutions which are offering aircraft maintenance engineering. And the pass mark, 75%. We don't compromise when it comes to aviation. It has to be 75 marks minimum. Going up. 74, no, we don't want any mistake when it comes to aviation. So these are hours, and also how long will it take you, and you should also have a license where it is issued by the South African Civil Aviation Authority. And the next slide, please. And if you need more information about careers in aviation, we are available on social media, and we have also what we call job booklet. And do your research, tell us what you need. Aeronautical engineering, there are opportunities there. We also have piloting, there are opportunities there. We also have aircraft maintenance engineering, all bursaries which are offered by CAA. And our social media, you can find us on social media, rather, Facebook, South African Civil Aviation Authority, and on Twitter, we are at official SACAA, as well as Instagram. And when it comes to LinkedIn, you just say South African Civil Aviation, then that's where you can find us. And our website, www.caa.co.za. And the next slide, I think it will show all this information I was talking about. And this is the process for applying for the bursaries, and that's our WhatsApp number as well. And our bursaries are always opened on the 1st of August each year. Make sure that you check our website, our social media, in order for you to be able to grab that opportunity to become one of our bursary beneficiaries. Next slide, please. The information, as I have said it already, and I think this is the end of our presentation. Thank you so much, Program Director.
Thank you so much, Mr. Maja and Ms. Ngema. Students can ask questions on the chat, and colleagues will give them feedback. We're going to continue in career in psychology by Mr. F. Makahani. Mr. F. Makahani, can you please take over?
Program Director, there is a correction. There should be a presenter by Ms. Ngema, please.
Can ask questions on the chat. Okay. Colleagues will give them feedback. Ms. Ngema. We're going to continue in career in psychology by Mr.
Good morning once again. I was going to be angry if you didn't make me present. Hello, guys.
Program Director,
There's somebody speaking in the background.
There should be a presenter by Ms. Ngema, please.
Okay.
Hello.
Ms. Ngema.
It's okay, myself.
Hello,
We
am I
can.
on?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Good morning once again. I was going to be angry if you didn't make me present. Hello, guys. There's somebody speaking in the background. Good morning, guys. My name is Maseko Ngema, and I'm a pilot at Mahwan Aviation. I'll be doing a presentation today on aviation, careers and awareness and education, but I'll be focusing mostly on pilots. Because Mr. Papi has already covered most of the careers in aviation. Next slide. Okay, like I explained, my name is Maseko, but I'm affectionately known as Captain Masi, and I treasure this name as it was given to me by my friends at high school. So flying has always been my dream as a child, because I remember when we used to play in the streets. I'm also from Atteridgeville, not so far from the University of South Africa, in the west of Pretoria. So we used to have aircrafts that will fly over by our home. And that's where the passion started. Like, I'd always ask myself and be curious as to who and how these machines are flown. So in grade 11, back in the early 2000s, I also got an opportunity to represent my school at the University of Pretoria, where they held a space and aviation camp. And that is where my knowledge for aviation was broadened. And then I started like going for air shows and all aviation events I would attend so that my knowledge for aviation could expand. Next slide, please. So my background, I started my career in the Air Force, where I was trained as an air traffic controller with the SA Air Force through what we call the MSDS program, which is the Military Skills Development Program. And years later, after being a soldier, I then transitioned to what we call the ATNS. This is a company that employs all our air traffic controllers. I'll just explain to you what exactly is it that they do. But ATNS, I worked there for like 4 years. And then I also acquired a BCom and BCom honors at Unisa in transport economics, and trained as a pilot to acquire my PPL, and currently also completing my commercial pilot's license with Mahwan Aviation. So I also did some specialized courses with IATA, specializing in aviation safety management. The IATA is a body that sits in overseas, and it's called International Air Transport and Association. And those are some of my pictures. I don't know if you can see them clearly, yeah, but as a graduate, as a soldier, and as a civilian pilot. Next slide. So Mr. Papi has already defined what aviation is all about, because everybody, we speak about aviation, but what exactly it is. My definition of aviation is that it refers to flying, simple as that. Flying using aircrafts, aeroplanes, helicopters, gliders, air balloons. We also now do flying using what we call drones. And it also includes activities related to flight, such as air traffic control. So in the picture, it's like a summary of what aviation entails. That tower, you see it when you go to the airport. That's where the air traffic controllers are situated. And on the left side of the picture, we have a civilian pilot flying his civilian aircraft. And on the right side, those are military pilots flying their military aircraft. Next slide. So Mr. Papi has already covered most of engineering careers within aviation, but there I'm also defining, I'll start from ATC because we've already covered what an aeronautical engineer is and also an aircraft maintenance engineer is. So ATCs, like I said, they control and handle all aircraft movements during takeoff and landing. They give us clearance. I cannot even start my aircraft without communicating with them. So they give us permission to land, permission to cruise, permission to change speeds in flight. We are constantly in communication with our air traffic controllers, and they keep us safe in the sky as they separate us, not flying on like same levels of flight, altitudes and flight levels. In aviation, I had a colleague in the law department also spoke about the different types of lawyers. We also have aviation lawyers in our industry, and they specialize in air law and regulations. And aviation doctors as well. Those are people that examine us as pilots, as aviators, and they give us our medical examination licenses, and they also operate in ambulances for their patients. And my favorite one as well is the aviation safety specialist, which are people that report and investigate on aircraft incidents and accidents. You usually guys see on National Geographic, there's a show called Air Crash Investigation. That is what aviation safety specialists do. They investigate air crashes. Next slide. So in the previous slide, I show you the difference between the pilot that is in the military and a pilot that's also in the civilian. So basically, a pilot flies an aircraft. So we have fixed wing pilots, those that flies fixed wing aeroplanes like an Airbus A380. You have helicopter pilots that flies helicopters or choppers that also fly in inaccessible areas. And the military pilots, they also fly the specialized military aircrafts. For instance, the famous Gripen fighter jet and the SA Air Force RX or Rayfalk helicopters. And we also have meteorologists. These are people that study weather. You find that before I even take off, I need to, when I do my flight planning, I call I call the South African Weather Service to check on how the weather is. These are the people that analyze that data for us on aviation that affects our flights. And we also have radartrician, which are responsible for the radar systems and equipment in the aircraft. Next slide. So requirements of a pilot, like Mr. Papi said, most aviation careers, you require to have passed pure maths and science, including English, and you have to be physically and mentally fit. Your grade 12, the subjects, you must have passed them at level 5. And the reason we want pure maths and science, I see a lot of students when I do these outreaches, you find that they do not qualify for bursaries because they do not have mathematics and science. And this is where we need to come together with teachers and encourage children to take in mathematics and science. I don't know why everybody's running for mathlets. In future, it's really gonna give you trouble if you seek an employment in aviation because we are strictly mathematics and strictly science. So geography as an additional for pilots, but it's not so compulsory because some of the concepts you cover in geography, we cover them in navigation. And pilot training subjects, there are 3 levels of licenses in flying. You've got your private pilot's license, your commercial pilot's license, and your air transport pilot's license. And those are some of the subjects that you need to write and cover. And by the way, we write our examinations at the Civil Aviation Authority, and pass mark, like we all said, minimum is 75% for all your flying exams. Next, please. So next, it's a short 1-minute video that summarizes what flying is all about and what it takes to become a pilot. We'll just quickly listen to the video. Sound, please.
Yes, Ngema, we can't see the
Hello?
video. We can't see the video.
They're playing it from the Unisa technical side. I'm not quite sure what's happening. There we go. Just give it sound. Okay, you can play it without sound. It's fine. Play it without sound. It's fine. Okay. And that's actually a nice video because it summarizes everything in 1 minute. Please play it without sound.
Diksha, can you maybe unmute your laptop if it is possible? Diksha, can you maybe unmute your laptop if it is possible?
Major, I'll call you now. I'll call you now, Major. Thank you. Next slide. It's just to leave a message for the students that you need to find your passion, you need to follow your passion, and you need to stay committed to your passion. So from our side, we say thank you very much and spread your wings and fly.
Thank you, Ms. Ngema. Thank you. We're going to continue to influencer and videographer, Rigo and Dise. Rigo and Dise, can you take over? Influencer and videographer presenter, can you please take over?
Hi, program. Good morning, program director. Can you hear us?
Good morning. Yes, I can hear you.
All right, we just want to confirm, can everybody hear us?
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much. Good morning to all the students, program director, and all the stakeholders. So yes, we are Rigo and Dise, but before we get in, I just wanted to say to all the students, you know, I think we woke up and we decided to be influencers, and it just took off from there. But no, I'm joking. It didn't start there. We do have a background that we'd like to share within a minute, yeah?
Yeah, so I am Rokhumuditswe Khwele, and I am a qualified commercial pilot flying the fixed-wing aircrafts.
Yes, and I'm Modise Khwele. This is my wife, by the way. And I'm a biokineticist by qualification. I have an honors degree in biokinetics. I obtained that from the University of Johannesburg. And so, yeah, but how did we get into this influencer marketing industry? I think that's what the students would like to know. So, yeah.
Yeah, so just a little background. So back in 2018 or 2017, I told my husband that I want to start a YouTube channel. And he was not interested in it at all. And so he decided to make a plan, because I told him that when he wants to propose to me, there has to be a photographer and there has to be a videographer, someone taking a video. I want to be able to remember my proposal.
Yeah. So yeah, long story short, I ended up doing all of that, and we caught our engagement and proposal on a camera, and we posted that on social media. To our surprise, we started gaining a bit of a following and a liking to our content. And it wasn't even a few months later, but a couple of brands, reputable brands within South Africa and international, started enjoying what we're putting out there and wanted to affiliate themselves with us and sort of partner with us in marketing their whatever products or services that they have to offer. But it wasn't up until in 2020, because this happened around 2020, yeah?
Yeah, from 2018 all the way within COVID as well.
Yes, we pursued influencer and videography careers, but we don't want to call it a career, because for us, we see it as a supplement to what you're doing. So I'd like to advise all the students right up front now that consider a career that is obviously reputable, a career where you do obtain a qualification, something that's more sustainable, that you can always fall back onto, because our industry in the influencer world, I don't want to say it's not sustainable, because it is, if you do take it more serious and you look at it as a business and as a brand that you're building, because that's what we did together. But yeah, back yourself up with a reputable qualification. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And hence why we have the qualifications that we have.
Yeah.
And this became a passion project.
Yeah.
So basically during COVID, we just had fun creating videos. So we want to basically dive into what is influencer marketing. What does it mean to become an influencer? So for example, if you love drinking Coke, right? And you post about it on social media that you love to drink Coke and you tag Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola then sees your ad because they see that your followers love the fact that you love drinking Coke and they want to also drink it. So therefore you are influencing people or the followers or people that are following you to drink Coke. So Coke therefore comes on board and says, hey, can you please make an ad for us and then publish it on your social media platform? So we will therefore give you remuneration or money for you creating that ad, the ads that you see on TV. So therefore you are a social media influencer, but you're also marketing for brands that want to attach themselves to you.
Yeah, and it is a serious business. I don't want people to think that it's just this glamorous thing and anybody can pick up a camera and just record. There's a lot of thought that goes behind what we do. Our day-to-day life is so busy because we forever brainstorming, we're detailing exactly what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. We attend meetings, we go to events, we go and we do quite a lot. And from the side of influencing, like my wife is saying, one needs to be authentic, right? One needs to be genuine in what they're putting out there. So it's not just about pick up anything and you're just going to show it to the world, but it has to resonate from within you. Is it something that you love and enjoy? So from a videography point of view, I do a lot of that. So I edit videos as well as I shoot videos. So videography is pretty much having a professional camera or even your cell phone as well, and using that to capture the content that you have. There is a lot to it. It's more technical. I'm not going to get into that. That's why Unisa is here. And you can obviously go explore various courses as well to learn how to operate a camera as well. And to edit the video as well is a skill. You don't just edit and play around.
Put pictures together.
Yeah, it's not about putting pictures together, but one needs to honestly invest time into learning how to edit and compile a whole video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we started off with a small camera with a GoPro when he proposed to me. Then we progressed to a Canon and then now we're on the Sony. So you progress along the years as you grow to become a videographer as well.
Yeah. And just to, as we're about to wrap up now, some of the careers that come out of influencer marketing, that's what we call it, is one could become a videographer, one could become a cinematographer. Now, I know it's big words, but it's pretty much being somebody who handles the camera, somebody who edits videos. You could, and we've seen this in this industry with our friends, you could become an actor, you could become a TV presenter, a radio host, you could be a brand ambassador. So, for instance, we're brand ambassadors for the likes of Coca-Cola, VW, just to name a few. And you could become a creative director as well, where you conceptualize ideas for brands because they want to get their products and services on TV, radio, everywhere else, especially social media. And that's where we come in.
So I also want to talk about your niche. So niche means what your focus will be on. So yes, you've got your full-time job that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. And in your spare time, you have a passion project. You have something that you love to do. So our niche is about marriage, lifestyle, fitness, and travel.
Yeah.
So we take what we love and we show our audience that this is what you can also do. So in marriage, we talk about marriage, our struggles, what happens in marriage. With travel, we show you around the places that we've traveled to and so on. So with you, you can decide, oh, I'm passionate about cooking. So you make cooking videos and then you post them on social media. And most importantly, don't post to be able to get followers or to be able to get likes. It's not about that. It's about you putting your content out there. It's about you showing basically being a helping hand. And that's what YouTube or social media should be about. It shouldn't even be about showing off that, oh, I've got 1 million followers and I'm getting a lot of money from brands. It's about you showing that this is what you can do. This is my education that I'm giving to you.
Yeah. And as we conclude, yes, social media marketing is sustainable. you can become entrepreneurial like us. You can make it a business like we have, and you can register it and have a production company as well. And a few key takeaways for us, it's all about discover your passion. What is it that you love, and what is it that you love to do as well? Showcase that. And as well as, very, very important, do consider getting a career outside of social media marketing. Go and visit the Unisa counseling unit and go find out what else can you do that will sustain you beyond the social media world that we live in. I think that's us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rijo and Dise. We learn every day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to continue to student funding by Miss M. Benyenye. Miss M. Benyenye, can you take over, please?
Good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon, learners. Thank you, Program Director. My name is Maupi Benyenye. I will just basically be going through what student funding or division of student funding is all about, the type of fundings that we do administer, and I think the most common one for most of the learner would be NEFSAS. I will share my screen now. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, minimize this. Okay, basically in the Directorate of Student Funding, we administer donor funds, informal study loans and bursaries according to the donors' criteria. Our main aim is to assist the financially needy and academically deserving students. The Directorate also administers NEFSAS funds, Unisa funds, as well as private bursaries. The type of funding that I will just go through now with the dear learners, which will be the NEFSAS DHET bursary, disability bursary, Funza Lushaka, military veterans, as well as TRC. I will start off by NEFSAS bursary, which is the most popular one. Basically what happens is, okay, the application for 2023, they are currently closed. The next application period will be around September for 2024 intake. Just a background, please note that the application for NEFSAS are done directly with NEFSAS on NEFSAS portal or NEFSAS website. Please note that as the institution being Unisa, we do not have control or access whatsoever with regards to the application, let alone to fast track the application to move faster or to do the evaluation process. We are entirely not part of that process at all. Students are required to do the application online, and they must also ensure that all the required documents are submitted when they do the application online so that they can be evaluated. The institution can only activate registration or finalize the registration for the student only if NEFSAS has confirmed the funding to say that particular student has been approved for that particular year. NEFSAS has got qualification that they do not fund. The qualification will be the advanced diplomas, advanced certificates, NDPs, postgraduate diplomas, honors degrees, masters and PhDs. So in actual fact, the NEFSAS will only cover the undergraduate qualification, being your higher certificate, diploma, and degrees only. And then please note that NEFSAS does not fund the second qualification. It does not matter if the first qualification was funded by NEFSAS or not. So the moment you've got a completed qualification, please note that you won't be funded for the second qualification that you're going to start. Okay, this one, I know we are still dealing with the learners from high school who are in grade 11. This for university to move from one university to the next, and from TVET college to another university. This will not apply to the students, so I will not worry much about it. So what does, if ever you are approved for NEFSAS, what do you benefit, or what does NEFSAS cover? NEFSAS will cover your tuition fees, your learning material allowance, or laptop. Not and, but is all. It's either you're getting one of the two, not both. And then you get the incidental allowance. This will only be for the students who are registered for 10 modules for the year or more. Say, for example, the student registered 5 semester modules in the first semester. It basically means they don't qualify for this incidental allowance yet. And then second semester, when they add another 5, the student will be having the 10 module. So we'll backdate the allowance from February. It runs to over 10 months. And then how much is the allowances? So for learning material allowances, from 1 module to 4 modules is calculated at 700 rands per module. So for example, if the student has got 4 modules, they will get 2,800. Then the moment the student registered 5 or more, we give the student the whole amount for the year for the learning material allowance, which is 5,460. The incidental allowance is payable at the rate of 304.50 over 10 months. Normally it will run from February to November. But if ever your 10th modules are going to start them in the second semester, it basically means around July, we'll backdate you from February to July. Then from August, you'll get monthly from up until November. How do the student get the allowances? Once the student is approved by NEFSAS, what will happen is we'll send the student an email on their My Life email account. On that email, there will be a link for the student to update their banking details. Once those banking details has been updated, they will get verified to confirm that the student bank account that they have updated indeed is the student's account. Then that's when we are going to process the allowances directly to the student bank account. The following are not covered by NEFSAS at all: supplementary fee, remark fee, late cancellation fees, textbook charges, your library charges. Those are going to be for the student to pay for out of their own pockets. Then I will move over to the NEFSAS disability bursary. This bursary, it just supports the student with disabilities who require financial aid and they possess the ability to pass the academic subjects. As well, the application for the disability is closed. It opens at the same time as the normal NEFSAS, around September for the following year. And then when you do the application, it's still done online on NEFSAS website. And then the only additional part of the application, it will be the student must declare their disability in the application when they do the application, and they must also upload the Annexure A form. That Annexure A form is to describe the nature of the disability for the student. And then if you are successful in the application for financial aid, and it's been confirmed to you that you got the bursary, you may start to arrange the purchase of the assistive device, and then that is done through our disability unit at Unisa. What does the disability bursary cover? Tuition fees Obviously, the tuition fees NEPSA pays directly to the university. Learning material allowance, 700 per module. Living allowance, still the same, 304.50 cents for 10 months. Cost of assistive device. That cost of assistive device, it will vary from one student to the next because the nature of the disability is different. And then there will be a human support where it's applicable, depending on the nature of the disability. We'll move over to Funza Lushaka Bursary. Funza Lushaka Bursary is a multi-year program to promote teaching as a profession. Bursaries are available to enable selected students to complete a teaching qualification in identified subject priority areas. Recipients of this bursary will be required to teach at a public school for the same number of years that they received for the bursary for. If you are funded by the bursary for 3 years, you'll need to work back for 3 years at a public school, for example. Applications that are as well closed for 2023. The next application period will be around November for 2024. Please note, even the students who are returning Funza Lushaka need to do the reapplication again. Who can apply for Funza Lushaka? Any academically gifted young learner or student, learners who are currently in grade 12 and who wish to study their Bachelor of Education qualification, graduates under the below age of 30 who want to complete a teaching qualification, or they will want to enroll for PGCE, Postgraduate Certificate in Education. People below the age of 30 who wants to make a career change and become teachers. Please note, Funza Lushaka does not pay for any higher certificates. They only pay for Bachelor of Education as well as the PGCE. The new applicants, if ever you are applying for Funza for the first time, they say for in 2024, please note the outcome will only be available around April and May. And then at that time, registration for first semester has already been closed. So students or learners are advised that during the first semester, they must activate their registration while waiting for the outcomes to be available. What does the bursary cover? Tuition fees, accommodation allowance, including meals, books and learning materials, and allowance for monthly living expenses. I'll move over to DNV, is the military veterans. For further information or application, you can visit the www.dmv.gov.za. And then who can apply? Military veterans, as well as their dependents who will want educational support. What does the bursary cover? Tuition fees, laptop, learning material allowance, as well as the living allowance. What are the required documents to apply for the military veterans bursary? A certified copy. Okay, let me just say all the documents must be certified. It will be the military veterans ID copy, dependents unabridged birth certificate, dependents grades report. Tertiary student must also include their academic record, a copy of acceptance or provisional admission letter from the university. I'll move over to the TRC, Truth and Reconciliation Commission, who qualify for assistance. A person who is declared a victim of apartheid by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and or their dependents or relatives. A dependent includes any person whom the TRC identified victim has or had a legal or customary duty to support, which would include children, grandchildren, and the spouse of the identified victim. For more details, please visit www.justice.gov.za. Please note, even if you are part of the bursary, you will need to renew your application yearly. What are the requirements? To qualify for the higher education and training assistance, the applicant must be a member of a household, which means the income should be not more than 339 per annum. The applicant who needs assistance must enroll in a public or TVET college for undergraduate studies only. So no postgraduate qualification being paid for here. Application must be emailed to trceducation@justice.gov.za. What does the bursary cover? Tuition fees, textbook allowance, meal allowance, and transport allowance. Just brief, how do the process work when it comes to NEFSAS, and how do communication between NEFSAS and the university go? Once the student has applied for NEFSAS and then the student is approved, NEFSAS will send the list of the approved student to Unisa. It's all the new and the returning students. Then we as the directorate will allocate funds to activate the registration for those students. We have to upload the registration data on NEFSAS portal after the closing date of registration. The registration data, it will only be the information just to let know that the student has registered for how many modules with qualification, the cost of those modules, how much is the allowance that's supposed to be paid. And then this registration data as well is assist NEFSAS when it comes to paying the university as to know how much are they supposed to pay for each and every student that is studying through Unisa. NEFSAS will process the data received from the institution, verifying the following. Is the student registered, the right qualification, and have they reached their N+ rule or not yet? And then all those who are successful in terms of their data, they're all okay. Those students, their details will be linked and updated on an NBA report. Once the data is linked, then we'll be able to disperse the allowances to the students. All the queries, if ever there are any other queries, please feel free to send an email to dsf-nefsas@unisa.ac.za. There is a dedicated team that works on the mailbox daily. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Maubi. Thank you very much. We are going to continue to Career in Psychology by Mr. F. Makahani. Mr. F. Makahani, can you please take over?
Morning. Yeah, I think I will try to be as quick as possible because can you hear me? All right, yeah. Let me start by saying my name is Patwan Makahane, a student counselor in Unisa Ekurhuleni. I will try to spend not more than 7 minutes my presentation, including the closing, because I think the person supposed to connected, but I will check later. All right.
Mr. Makahani.
Yes.
Mr. Makahani, we can't hear you properly.
Can you hear me?
You need to, your voice is lower. You need to up your voice.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
All right, yeah, I think my computer has got a challenge. It's crazy or sick in one way or the other. All right, let me not waste much time because the time is limited and people still need to move around and so on. Right, as you can see, there are different careers in psychology, starting from registered counselor. That is where you have got honors and you are done the internship for 6 months if it's full-time, or 1 year if it's part-time. And psychometrist does the same thing, but they are mostly about assessment measures. And then you going down, they've got clinical psychology, forensic, neuropsychology, research, industrial, educational counseling. From clinical to counseling, they do similar job. The difference is that their area of competency are different. They are not put there in an area of importance. All of them, they are very important because they mostly deal with the humans. And then clinical, they diagnose as well as providing medication for those clients who are not feeling well, who are mentally unstable at sometimes. Forensic, they deal mostly with the investigation, like cases that you can see, CSA, ID, and so on. Neuropsychology is mostly dealing with the brain. Research psychology, they mostly found doing research and also working in academia. Industrial psychology, IP, they are mostly in the businesses and companies looking on the areas of careers and so on. Educational psychology is one that is mostly at school or universities. I'm one of those, including my manager, Dr. Pitwane. Counseling psychology does all the jobs that others are doing, but they're specifically focusing on counseling and other areas. So that is how psychology is all about. We check the area where they operate. The registered counselor, they operate in a community-based setting, schools, non-government. Both of them, they can do that, even clinical. The difference is that clinical, they are mostly advanced in the sense that they mostly also give medication, like kids who have got ADHD, they prescribe medication, the clinical. So the salaries there you can see, but it goes where we are working. Sometimes start from 17,000 for registered counselor, 20,000 for psychometrists because we do assessments, then 29,000 up to 50 to 70 to 100,000 for clinical. That is what it is in the. We also have forensic neuro research. That's the same thing. You can see the salary on the bottom there. Those trainings you can also acquire it at Unisa. At Unisa, you can see that it's happening. But clinical is also at Unisa, but the one that is there, it's educational, but you can find it on other institutions. Then this is already spoken about. What is going on here? Right, other psychological specialization is things that we've discussed already. And then continue. I think we are almost on the end of the slides. But here go to other specializations: social work, play therapy, psychiatrist, art therapy. Psychiatrists, those one who are doctors and also did psychology. They've got 2 qualifications in one. They both come from the behavioral sciences, social sciences. Sports psychology, those are the focusing on the sports, on rehabilitation of those who are injured and so on. Social psychology is about social environment. Cognitive psychology is also about dealing about the mind. Applied experiential and engineering psychology is also part of those other areas that you can find. Right, professional training route, undergraduate, you start with a degree. If you don't qualify for a degree, you're gonna start with a higher certificate. Then you graduate, you go to undergraduate degree. Then you do a B-Psych or equivalent with other universities that can give you that. Unisa doesn't have the B-Psych or equivalent. That is the combination of degree and honors. But as such, you just gonna, if you are going to be a B-Psych equivalent, obviously you are going to be a registered counselor or a psychometrist. But if you jump that and you do your honors, then remember, there's a selection process. When you finish your honors, if you want to do masters, it's not a sales through that you can just go through. They just take a maximum, this time they increase the number of 13 to 14 students per year in each university, those which are offering this. So you must know that you have got a higher marks, you must aim high so that when you fall, you'll fall to the middle. Then you have got higher marks, and you've got someone was talking about the issue of volunteering. So you must also volunteer as young as you are, trying to do the volunteer work so that you can get an opportunity to be taken, because they look at things like those. I think I'm done in less than 7 minutes, as I have indicated. Thank you very much, colleagues. And thank you very much, our distinguished guests, our students. And then before, I think the Komuto is asking about question. It must go back to the program director. I think on my side, I'm done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Makahani. Now it's time for Q&A session where students can ask questions. If any student has a question, they can ask. Thank you. Sharon, your hand is up.
I wanted to ask, is aviation law and like aviation in detail, like flight attendancy, does it also, is it a must to do pure maths and physics? Or you can like do it without the subjects?
Thank you for the question. I think Mr. Maja and Mrs. Ngema can answer the question.
Hi, good day. Sorry, I missed the question.
The question was, is it a must to do pure maths?
So there are two groups of people. Hear me?
Yes, we can
It
hear
is
you. Yep.
Yeah, usually the mathematics and science, it's required and it's compulsory when you do your bursaries. You see. And I also mentioned that English as well and geography as an additional.
What about flight attendance?
So flight attendants also have their cabin crew training schools. So English is a requirement, but not for mathematics and science. English is what required to be a cabin crew.
Hello, I got a question on Institute for Nanotechnology and Water Sustainability. Can nanotechnology be used to cure diseases or not?
Thank you so much. Do I chip in there and answer the question? Okay. That silence then not go in there. Yes, what nanotechnology, you do find nanotechnology in medicine. So it can be used for curing diseases. I mean, in there's treatment of cancers where they use radiation science to treat cancers with radiation, but the whole career around medical physics, it's this where nanotechnology comes in. There is we see your high energy beams delivered to a tumor and doing the whole treatment around it. So nanotechnology, you find it in medicine, you find it in really quite a number of applications. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Madito. Olile, you can ask your question.
How do you market and how do you approach your goals in hospitality management?
Ms. Irono, can you answer the question?
Please, can you kindly repeat the question again?
How do you market and how do you approach your goals in hospitality management?
Okay. When it comes to marketing, if that is correct, if that is what you're asking, you have to be strategic. You have to plan clearly on what you are intending to market, and it has to align with your consumer as well. So in hospitality industry, you always have to move. You are in a dynamic move. You have to move with your customers. So marketing is strategic, and at the same time, you have to reach out to your customer using social media. For instance, technology is assisting us in so many ways nowadays. So we can have TikTok, we can have YouTube channels and so forth, just to reach out to our targeted consumer in that area. So hospitality is diverse in terms of marketing. You have to know your consumer first before even you sit down and be strategic in terms of marketing. I don't know if did I answer your question? I hope I answered the question clearly.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Rono. Mabua Mamashu, you can ask your question.
Yes. So my question is, when opting for a BCom law degree, are you required to have some sort of history in accounting?
Ms. P. Kamulani, can you answer the question? Ms. P. Kamulani? I think we will get back to that question. Kopano, I see your hand is up. You can ask your question.
Greetings. My name is Sifiso from Ramushidi Technical High School. On the presentation about robotics, Dr. P did mention that the most important things are collaboration and teamwork. So my question is, as somebody who's interested in engineering, electrical engineer to be exact, how do I collaborate with or in robotics?
Dr. P. House, can you answer the question, please? Okay, I think we will also get back to that question. Olile, I see your hand is still up. You can also ask your question.
This question goes to Unisa. How do you approach brands on social media, and how do you handle hate on social media?
Rihu and Dise, can you please answer the question?
I can just repeat that question for us again, please.
I think the question was, how do you handle hate on social media?
Do you approach brands? That is an interesting question. We don't really pay attention to hate because you've got a goal on what you're doing on social media. If you know that you're doing good, then there should be no need to be impacted by negativity. Just continue doing what you love. And yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Olile, your hand is still up. Can you ask the question?
The other question was, how do you approach brands in social media?
Okay, thank you for that. So we do have a rate card that we have to design and share with various brands and agencies. So often we would reach out to brands either through their social media platform, maybe on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or even Twitter sometimes. But often there are agencies that are out there that we do sort of work with and collaborate with, and then they reach out to us. And of course, like I said, we have a proposal that we also draft as content creators, my wife and I. And yeah, it's more detailed than what I'm saying, but that's pretty much in a nutshell what we do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think right now it's time for Miss P. Litole to take over. Miss P. Litole, you can take over.
Yeah, in fact, I'm going to talk on behalf of Peli Tole. She's a problem of the national problem of load shedding, where she is at the moment, but she vested the power of thanking people who have come in. I think the first thing that I'll do, I already introduced myself. The first thing that I'll do is to first thank everyone, our students, our learners from different schools, and taking their time. And I'm so impressed with the fact that they were asking questions, because I was worried that they would just come to listen. But thank you very much, guys. Give yourself a round of applause. Not only there, you as well. I mean, if you can hear, please give yourself a round of applause. You can't hear. Give yourself a round of applause for coming to Unisa. they're muted. Ne? They are muted. Okay, it's fine. Perhaps you have heard that. All right. Without wasting much time, let me continue by thanking our very own Dr. Pitswane for making this thing possible. Because without you, Doc, it was going to be very difficult. The support that you are giving us is very imaginable. We really appreciate you for always be there for us and trying to make sure that take a boy, girl, child to Unisa or to work, it's possible because it takes not only a village, but it takes somebody who is competent in a village. And you're one of those people who are competent in a village to take a girl or a boy child to work. We appreciate you for that. We cannot thank you very much, the Miss Sigaga, for being there. And every time when we try to get hold of you, you don't disappoint. You always come to help our learners, or even if it's our students, you always be there. We really appreciate you are present today and giving them information which were very valuable. And the girls, they should have taken a leave out of it to know that being a girl is not something. Maybe committee has given them a bad name, saying a girl is a lesser individual as compared to the boy. From today, they started to learn that a girl is very important as well. We cannot even, our biggest respect goes to everyone, including Dr. House, for career in robotics. I think the world is going to robotics. I think this is very interesting. And most of them that are here, when I ask them one by one, they are doing maths and science, which is part of the thing that they can do in robotics as well. We thank you, Dr. House. And Dr. Munyai, agriculture is life. It's just that because I'm too much into agric and then horticulture. I really appreciate that because they need to understand that without agriculture, there will be no food. So even the food that they will get, whether it's a finger lunch or so, it's come from agric. You must understand that. And agriculture is life. Career in is hospitality. Then when the food is dished, somebody has to share it, right? Somebody has to cook it. So his hospitality come the backbone of after the agriculture come hospitality. So we thank you, Ms. Rono, to inform them about the careers in hospitality. Those who will be working in aviation, some of you will be dishing food to other people. That is hospitality. So you will see our hospitality today. There are ladies who are busy with hospitality as well here. So career in law, you always check the cases in the TV. We are not going to mention which case, but you watch them. Right, Mr. Amala, thank you very much for informing them about the careers in hospital in law, and then Institute for Nanotechnology. It was something interesting because I only know of the nano SIM card. So now when you're giving us information about the nanotechnology, it brings back issue of very important issues. Dr. Madito, we really appreciate you. And next time, please give us time to come again to tell us more about this nano. Volunteering opportunities. Volunteering is our life. And I think amongst us here, we've got somebody who's volunteering on the back there. Then you were supposed to get an opportunity to tell them about volunteering. So teaming up with Mase Kwame, about telling them about volunteering. There is no life without volunteering. You need to volunteer because some people need your services, guys. And the volunteering help you also in learning skills that you might not have in your work context. And it increases your chances for being employable. Then career in accounting. Accounting, most people don't even know how to account, how to know where the money goes to. So Ms. Kamolane gave us the opportunity to understand that there are different careers in accounting. Mr. Kamalang, we appreciate you for telling us about accounting. And then we went to technical engineering and aviation by Mr. Maja and Ms. Ngema. You gave us a lot more because we always think there is no traffic when it comes to aircraft, but you gave us that information. You tell us more than we expected. We appreciate you. I think next time again, please come and give us this to our learners as well. Career in psychology. I cannot thank myself enough. Therefore, I will jump myself. Then I will talk about the influencer videographer. It's interesting because the husband and wife, they were laughing here when you started by saying, this is my wife. And I could see it in this is a happy family. So therefore, it's important, guys, to realize that sometimes you can work with your partner in a company. So you get your partner, you rope them in. It's interesting part is that it happened during COVID that they started to start something for a family. It's a legacy that was, and it's very interesting. We really appreciate you for talking about Rico and Dise. And I think everyone, because they heard about the social media, that is why most of the question was about, is there no bullying in social media? And what happened in social media? So to continue to give them those information, it's important for them to know that. Ms. Peña, we cannot thank you enough, because we know that we're coming from the background whereby we don't have money. So therefore, giving us that information for NEFSAS, giving us that information for Funzal Shaka, please continue giving our students about the opportunities of bursary which are available. And then I thank everyone. There are some people who I'm not going to mention their name because they are working in the background, those who make this possible. They are volunteers. We appreciate you guys. And with that being said, Unisa cares about you. We are celebrating 150 years. And as part of 150 years, this is one of the things that makes Unisa community to be what it is today. With that being said, thank you very much, and back to you, Program Director. I think you will give us directive as what to do next. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Makahane. I think we are done. I'd also like to thank everyone for being part of the program. This is now our closing. Thank you for joining, and goodbye.
Bye. Thank you, Program Director. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Let's show the camera once more. Bye.
What's next?